I'm indecisive whenever there's someone new. Can't tell if I should block them or just let them through. The moments we're together, everything is cool. But at this point in life, I don't know what to do. I gotta know when to stay and when I should go. Learned my lesson a while ago. Where I'll end up, nobody knows. Should take it slow, move with caution along this road. Could be dangerous, I don't know. But at this time, I'm just trying to pick up the vibe. I feel like it feels right this time. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, maybe I should just live my life. Let it go and enjoy the ride. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. Keep calm when the wind blows. I know everything gonna work out, so I aim up high when it feels low. I know it's hard to trust someone these days, and I know I go overboard when I think about all these things. Thoughts inside my brain, try to keep it sane. I gotta know when to stay and when I should go. Learned my lesson a while ago. Where I'll end up, nobody knows. Should take it slow, move with caution along this road. Could be dangerous, I don't know. But at this time, I'm just trying to pick up the vibe. I feel like it feels right this time. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, maybe I should just live my life. Let it go and enjoy the ride. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, I'm just trying to pick up the vibe. I feel like it feels right this time. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, maybe I should just live my life. Let it go and enjoy the ride. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, pick up the vibe. Feels right this time. I can't decide. But at this time, just live my life. Enjoy the ride. But at this time, I'm just trying to pick up the vibe. I feel like it feels right this time. Maybe not, I can't quite decide. But at this time, maybe I should just live my life. Let it go and enjoy the ride. Maybe not, I can't quite decide.
Why did you do it?
Been thinking way too much lately, but ain't that what we all do? Sometimes it feels like we're going crazy from this life that we're going through. The ups and downs and arounds make us wanna scream and shout. It's like I never have a plan. It's like I'm sinking where I stand. Yeah, I've been stuck in my head and I can't get out. Don't know what I gotta do right now. Don't know what I gotta do right now. I've been stuck in my head and I can't get out. Don't know what I gotta do right now. Oh. It really does feel like there's no way out. Running around in circles with no exit to be found. Tell me, have you ever felt like this? I keep on trying and trying again, but sometimes I can't tell the difference between the start and the end. It's something like a maze that's just began. I've been stuck in my head and I can't get out. Don't know what I gotta do right now. Don't know what I gotta do right now. I've been stuck in my head and I can't get out. Don't know what I gotta do right now. Don't know what I gotta do right now. Thinking way too much is causing me to lose control of who I am, and all my motivations going out the window, man. I can't just let it go. I gotta pick myself back up and realize that everything is gonna be okay. I've had enough of feeling like I'm overwhelmed, feeling like I'm losing health. I know that life's a series of things that we gotta figure out, so I'll just keep on living every day. Give it all I gotta know that everything's okay, yeah. I'm not stuck in my head.
Hello everybody, I'm Thomas and welcome back to another solo gaming Sunday. This week I will be playing Forge, which stands for Fantasy Open Role-Playing Game Engine, which I am very excited about. It's a old school, more styled RPG. If you're familiar with like OSRs and B/X games, I think this is compatible is what I've heard, and it's pretty similar to those style games. But yeah, I've been playing it a bit this past week, getting ready for the stream, and I'm excited to give it a shot here today. It was actually suggested by Dallas in chat. And hello, everybody. Yeah, well, hello there, Dallas and Christopher. Welcome on in. And hope everybody's doing good. Yeah, I'm excited to be playing this today. Should be a good time. Yeah, what's new with everybody? I'm trying to think. Not too much is new with me this past week. Just been finally kind of getting back into like a regular routine. I got my sleep schedule back to normal, which is nice. I'm trying to think, what have I been watching? So at some point, I don't know when, maybe like a month or two ago now, I don't know what, I just started rewatching a bit of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, specifically my favorite part, which is Stardust Crusaders Part 3. I just wanted to watch a few episodes of it because, like, I don't know, it's a funny show, and I was like, I could use a little bit of a mood boost. But then, of course, I naturally continued watching it and then finished that whole Stardust Crusaders part. And then, of course, naturally, I just continued watching it more, even though I just watched through the show like last year, within the last year. And then I rewatched the part 4, which is Diamonds is Unbreakable. And I just finished that like a week or two ago, like fairly recently. I gotta say, I think I've switched sides. I think Diamonds is Unbreakable is my favorite part. I think part 4 is the best part. I just really enjoyed the characters and the setting and the plot in part 4. It's just so good. I don't know. I'm gonna stop doing my rewatch probably right now. I'm just, I'm on Golden Wind, which, I'm taking a break from. But I just rewatched those two. So besides that, I haven't been watching too much TV. But that was like over the past few months I rewatched those parts. If we name the characters Helene and Milton, we won't feel bad when they die. That's a good point. I'll talk about this here in a bit, but I had a test character that I was playing with to test out playing this game earlier this week, and they died pretty brutally. It was a pretty interesting adventure though. I don't know why. I mean, I think also I haven't quite figured out the proper way to balance this game, and I think I made my first big encounter way too hard. I've been playing this past week to get ready. What else game wise have I been playing? Not too much really. Busted out 4 Northwood, been playing that a bit. I still need to start playing some of the new Bullet Heart characters. I haven't played that. I haven't been playing too much else. I did hang with some like friends over the weekend, so I played Decrypto, which I hadn't played in a while. And that's a really fun game. It's one of those games that I think is it's kind of tough to explain. And it's a game where I really have to tell people, like, listen, it's not going to make a whole lot of sense at first, but like once you get to the start of like the 3rd round, it'll all make sense. And that seemed to be kind of what happened, but it was a lot of fun. Decrypto is such a fun game. I think it's one of my favorite like word games for sure. Like I like it better than Just One. Like I really like Just One, but Just One's kind of light. Codenames I'm okay on. I think Codenames is duets like on the bottom of my shelf, so it's probably leaving my collection at some point soon. So I'm not crazy about that. One word game I do want to try that I've heard good things about is So Clover. I feel like I might like that one. But yeah, so that's what I've been really playing recently. I haven't been playing too many other. I guess I played Everdell this last week. Played that for the first time. Did a video on that. At least the digital version of it, which I quite enjoyed. I wasn't blown away by it by my first playthrough, but I mean, I can see why people like it, and I definitely want to give it another, game or two more, and maybe try some of those like challenges. So I don't know. Everdell seemed pretty neat though. What else have I been playing? I've also been playing, I don't know, so I've been playing a couple of video games, maybe just this past weekend. I had some downtime. So I like playing Rocket League every now and again. I'm not the best at it, but I'm decent. So I was playing some of that, some Fortnite, playing that again, which is very fun. Actually got a victory royale. Not trying to brag, but I was in solos, unranked. No build is normally how I play. And yeah, I actually got a victory royale. It was pretty clutch. But I was like, they got a bunch of crazy items in Fortnite right now, which is like they got like a bunch of like Avengers items. So you have like a War Machine jetpack, and you can fire. Like the final battle came to me just flying around with a jetpack, and I'm like, I have this missile launcher thing, and it was pretty wild. Another game that I started playing this past weekend, which I've played years ago, and I never beat, and I'm gonna try to play through it and beat it this time, is Portal 2. That is a game I've had in my library for a long time, probably close to since I've had a Steam account. And one I got through decently far, but I've never beat the game. So I wanted to try to beat it. So I got to like chapter 3. I think when I was playing over this last weekend, so I got a decently far. I don't know how many chapters there are, but I made some progress. Got past the first couple puzzles and feel like into the game kind of proper. So that's fun. I'm gonna hopefully play that every now and again, just trying to make some progress through that. But yeah, that's what I've been playing and watching recently. You've been reading a book series called Dungeon Crawler Carl and gone through 4 of the books in less than a week. Dang. Dungeon Crawler Carl. So this is about a guy named Carl that dungeon crawls. Been checking out Forge for some time now, and I occasionally use random tables for hex crawls as an add-on while playing in other games. Very interested in seeing how it plays. Yeah, there's a lot. When I looked over this game, like there was a lot that jumped out to me. I was like, wow, this is pretty nice. I mean, overall, it's a super simple game. I really like the art style. Like, look at this character sheet. It's got some like cool colors, and it's got like the kind of hand drawn. I don't know, something about it's very just like charming. But yeah, no, it has like hex crawl rules. It has downtime rules. Yeah, so it's free, or so always pay what you want. So I'm excited to play it today. I haven't played it a whole lot, but like I said, it's a fairly simple game. So I want to try to touch most of the different points of the game. Like I want to try to do dungeon crawling. I want to do some hex crawling. Definitely get into some combat. Definitely do some downtime. I think those are the 4 kind of main kind of points in the game that you can kind of do stuff with. So we'll see how far we get and if my character lives or not. But yeah. So I'll quickly talk about this. So I was playing this game to practice it. I guess real quick, I'll go over this here in a second. But I was playing old Marbash here, who was like a hunter fisherman, a chaotic hunter fisherman, at least chaotic alignment. He had like a mohawk and stuff, pretty cool. He's traveling with his companion Amara, and I was actually doing a decent amount of writing. And it didn't end too well. Basically, him and Amara were sent by the city they were in to go hunt down a what was the word? Not leech infested. It was like a fungus infested ape that was terrorizing the hunting grounds. And yeah, apparently apes are really strong. I had a follower named Amara who we set up a trap for the ape because we knew it was going to like outpower us. We set up a trap for it. We caught it. I gave myself 2 rounds that it was like trapped before it would escape. So first round, I have a bow and arrow, so Marbash shot at it. Great. Amara only had a short sword, and for some reason, she went up and slashed at it, even though Marbash was trying to stop her. She ran up, slashed at the ape, actually did like max damage, did a ton of damage. But then she was within range of the ape for his like punch attack. And the ape got a critical hit and did something like 14 damage in one attack. And she has 2 health points. So she just like instantly died. Marbash immediately realized what was going on. He's like, this ain't gonna go good. So he just started running. They had a backup plan where they had basically a larger pit to try to just have it fall into. So Marbash was gonna try to lure the ape to the pit, and he managed to. But the ape grabbed onto the ledge right at the last second. And then, of course, so Marbash had a sword on him, so he or like a dagger or something. So he slashed at the ape's hand, This is like the ape was grabbing onto like the cliff. The ape falls, but of course this is like a fungus infested ape. So I said it has like these like vines kind of things coming off of it. So I let the ape have a chance to try to do a vine attack to grapple Marbash and drag Marbash down with the ape as it was falling into this like ravine or whatever. It did succeed, so it grabbed onto Marbash, and then I gave Marbash an attempt to try to slash through the vine to try to like break free. He failed, and down into the ravine he went. The ape died, but then so did Marbash. And that was like scene 3 of my adventure. So I didn't get too far into playing the game, and I quickly realized like it was like a level 5 creature. I was level 1, my follower was level 1. So I think it was way not balanced correctly, but it was a fun little tale, and I really fleshed out like a nice city and some characters I'm going to be reusing in my story today. We're going to be playing in basically the same city, so I can like reuse my map and stuff like that. So, and who knows, maybe some of the other things that I kind of did in that game will come back. But one thing I'm curious about for all you folks at home that play RPGs is when it comes to journaling for any game, but I mean, I was journaling a bit for this game. If you do journal, I usually do like bullet points, but I found when I play solo, just without, like recording or whatever, I write a bit more. I'm curious, do you write, what point of view do you write in? Because I found myself at first like writing in third person point of view because I thought that just makes sense, kind of just like an overall narrator describing what Marbash did. But then I found as I was going along, like I just more transitioned into writing first person. Like I was Marbash, like this is like my daily journal, just kind of talking about like what I did that day, but more in real time. And I don't know, that felt like more natural, but yeah, I don't know. Both kind of worked, but I'm curious if y'all at home do any journaling for your RPGs. What kind of point of view do you normally write in, or does it switch? Because I don't know, I started out with third because I thought that made more sense, but then I don't know, writing in first person also just kind of flowed more normally. So I don't know. I don't want to explain too much because I'm afraid I'm going to spoil stuff. Even the premise, talking about it seems like it might be sport, is really fun. Really, really easy. Really fun. Okay, I mean, I'll definitely check it out. I mean, I have like Audible, so I can, always get it on audiobook if it's there. But I also have like, I'm falling behind on like, there's a couple audiobooks I want to read, and like there's podcasts I'm trying to listen to that I'm like falling episodes behind. So I need to like make more time to like listen to stuff, whether it be like audiobook or podcasts and stuff. Let me make sure I'm on my right chat mode. Okay. Some emergent storytelling. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, it was a fun little couple sessions while it lasted. So you died not trying to build a base or figure out a radio tower. No, this time it was being dragged into a crevice by a fungus-infested ape, which was, I guess, a little bit more exciting, I would say. Marbash needs a statue. Yeah, he did take down the ape. In the end, he did do his job. And I mean, not to go too much. I mean, we're probably going to see like the result of his actions in today's session. Because, for example, he's from a town called Winter's Landing. The main reason he came to Elk Heights is the town we're going to be in today, was because some of Winter Landing's citizens were wrongly taken prison in Elk Heights. Marbash was sent to try to free them. He came to an agreement with somebody that worked in town hall that they're like, if you take care of this ape that's like terrorizing our hunting lodge, then we'll let all the prisoners go. So I think even though Marbash did die, he did take down the ape. So ideally, all the prisoners should be let free. So at least he shouldn't have died for vain. Amara, on the other hand, I don't know what she got out of it, but she ran in there real dumb. So that was kind of on her. You've done both. Don't know what I prefer. You're right in first person unless it's from a point of view not involving my main character. I guess that does make sense. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like first person better, but I mean, both, like I said, both definitely make sense. And I found myself using both, but then, I don't know, just writing like from the point of view of Marbash, like I'm just like journaling my day. But then also, like I said, I kind of do it in like real time. So not like I went to the store, like I'm going to the store. So this outro. When you played Blade Runner, you wrote in first person. It was like a noting of sequenced events and throws, but I get it. Your third person is more pleasant when you separate meta characters. Yeah, and that's the other thing is, yeah, when stuff's going on that you maybe your character doesn't know about, yeah, that's definitely part of it. That's definitely a thing. I usually have 2 player characters. One is the main, the other is a companion, so I tend to write in third person. That's fair. But my journaling style varies depending on my mood. So sometimes it's long and detailed, and other times it's just a summary or bullet points. Yeah, no, I'm definitely the same. I mean, normally like when I play live like this, like I still like keeping notes, but I do like bullet points. But I'm not gonna show you. But this was just like, here's my notes from when I played. This was setting up everything. This was scene 1. That was scene 2. That was scene 3. And I guess scene 4 is when the ape encounter happened, and they all went. Everything went down, but it was a lot of fun. So hopefully, you know, we have a good time today and not as bad of an ending, but we'll see. For me, it feels more immersive when I write in first person. I agree. And I think that's maybe why I do it, but I don't know. Like I said, I do both. But anyway, I'm gonna switch to the music. I'm gonna try a different soundtrack today. I like playing some game soundtracks, but I'm worried like copyright issues. I'm gonna get like copyright strikes, but you know what? Who cares? Let's see if I do. Because this soundtrack's good, and I don't really have any good like fantasy soundtracks to play. So I need to find, if you have any good video game fantasy soundtracks, or like fantasy video games, like the soundtracks for them, yeah, let me know, because I don't know. But if you recognize this soundtrack, then you're pretty cool. But anyway, let's get started. So first off, I will quickly go over sources because I am using a couple of extra things today. So I will be mainly using just Forge. I have the PDF on my iPad, a couple of reference sheets printed out, my character sheet. I do have Table Fables near me. I don't plan on really using them. I only plan on probably using 2 specific tables from them. In Table Fables 1, there is a tavern name generator, which I quite like. And in Table Fables 2, there is a town name generator, which I quite like. Neither are really present in Forge. Forge actually has a lot of great tables, but it doesn't really have those, so I have Table Fables for that. And then I will also be using Mythic. So I'm not going to be using all of Mythic. I'm basically just going to be using the thread/character list and the fate chart, which is kind of most of Mythic, but I'm not going to be using any other tables or charts from Mythic. And with that, yeah, we can kind of get to going through how this game is played, what's going on. I'll try to keep the rules explanation semi-brief. And yeah, hopefully I could do a good job explaining it, and we can get into playing here fairly directly. Okay, so Forge, once again, stands for Fantasy Open Role-Playing Game Engine. And of course, I'll always have, like always, the game is linked in the description, and I believe it's like a pay-what-you-want style game. So it's, if you want to just get it for free and try it first, you're able to. Quick reference, which I already have printed. We'll go over most of that. I'm going to turn down the music a little bit on my end. Hopefully it's not too loud on your end either. Okay, so what is Forge? Forge is a rules-like, quick-to-learn role-playing game with enough depth to enable a campaign. Its earlier version was based on Knave 1.0. It's since been overhauled and expanded while remaining fully compatible with all OSR/B/X D&D resources, which I've not played any really OSR or B/X style games. But yeah. The aim of the game is to work together with other players and their characters to explore sprawling lands and deep dungeons, overcoming fearsome monsters, uncovering plots and thwarting deadly traps in search for great wealth, fame, and power. Style of the game leaning towards old school style of role-playing games with many more modern design features rolled in. Rules are kept simple and consistent as possible in order to let imagination and fast-paced action take the spotlight. You need pretty just standard dice. They use D66 a lot. You just roll 2 6s. One's like a tens place, one's the ones place. There's stuff about that. Message to they call the game master the referee. Message to the players. They do have solo rules, so we'll go over that, but they do have stuff for solo play. Yeah, I should say, like, you don't need Mythic to play, but they have a yes/no oracle. So, I mean, obviously, I just really like Mythic. So I like, having the chaos factor and that influencing the fate chart and having the thread and character list. So, yeah, it's not needed, but I'm going to use it. But anyway, this is a classless character game. So, yeah, you don't have traditional classes in Forge. Instead, every player character is an adventurer who's given up their former life in pursuit of treasure and fame. So how a PC interacts with the game world is limited by the player's imagination and the equipment the character carries. So a character's fictional background, experience, or occupation may also influence their adventuring ability. So for example, any character can pick a lock if they have thieves' tools. However, a former locksmith will be much more adept at the task. Attributes are pretty standard. You have 6 of them. They range from 3 to 18 for their value. If you're familiar with stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, I'm sure many other games, this will look familiar. So you got strength, dex, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And all of these, based on the number, you also get an attribute modifier. So if you have just a 2 to a 3, you get -3, or 13 to 15, you get +1. There's also something called the level modifier, which you'll choose 2 of your attributes to be primary attributes. All the rest will be secondary attributes. Your level modifier is just a bonus equal to your character's level. So you add that to all primary attributes, and then you add a bonus that's half your level rounded down to all your secondary attributes. So, and there's a little chart up here, but it's pretty straightforward. Level 2 character would add +2 to all their primary stats, or I guess their 2 primary stats, and add 1 to every other stat as their level bonus. Attribute checks are really straightforward, really straightforward. Used to determine some outcome of uncertain events, can sometimes be referred to as a saving throw or a save. Target number is sometimes referred to as a difficulty class or a DC. So the attribute check bonus, so you would first look at what the bonus is, which is just going to be the total of both your attribute modifier and your level modifier. And to make the roll, you just roll a d20 and add your check bonus. And in pretty much most cases, you're trying to get above a 15. Above that is considered a success, or a 15 or higher is a success. And that's that. If you're doing a contested roll, normally the target number is 10 plus the check bonus. So if you're contesting, charisma, then your opponent's charisma check bonus plus 10 is the target number you need to beat. These are just for standard, like attribute checks. But we're going to talk about combat here in a bit. But combat's one of the exceptions where the number you're trying to beat is like the armor class instead, and not just a static kind of 15. But okay, critical rolls are a thing. So you roll a d20. On a 20, that's always a success. On a 1, that always fails. There is advantage and disadvantage where you roll multiple dice and either take the higher or lower number. You got inventory slots. So you have base 10, and then you get more based on your strength check bonus. Most items, including runestones, sacred rites, potions, scrolls, light weapons, tools, torches, rations, etc., take up 1 slot of space each. Heavier or bulkier items, such as armor and medium to heavy weapons, take up more slots. You can group small items together. Tiny items don't count towards your encumbrance, which is nice. And I kind of like the way the game does encumbrance. It's pretty interesting. Can be kind of limiting at times, but I don't mind. Casting spells is a thing. I'm not going to go over that because I'm not playing a spellcaster today. So, but pretty much there's 2 schools of magic, arcane and divine. Spells have a spell power that is equal to the caster's relevant attribute check bonus plus 10. Arcane uses intelligence. Divine uses wisdom. You have a certain amount of spells per day. Like I said, I'm going to kind of gloss over the spellcasting stuff because I'm not going to be playing a spellcaster today. Hit points. So at first level, characters determine their maximum number of hit points by rolling a hit dice, 8, which is HD. You'll see that a good amount through this book. and adding their Constitution modifier. So it's the modifier, not like the check bonus. Those are like two different numbers that you always kind of got going on. If a character's Constitution is one of their primary attributes, their hit dice is a D8. Otherwise, it's a D6. At subsequent levels, the character rolls their hit dice again and adds their Constitution modifier again. So in this case, there's an example here. This is a level 2 character. Their hit dice is 6. First level, they rolled a 4. Their Constitution modifier, which is the +0, is +0. So they had 4. Level 2, they rolled another D6, got 4 again. +0 is why they have 8 max hit points in this little example. Anytime you get healed, your Constitution check bonus, so not the modifier, the check bonus modifies any amount. And you're always healed at least 1 HP. Advancements, there's the XP charts. You gain XP for actually a good number of things. I mean, not just killing monsters, but mostly just killing monsters. But also how much treasure you carry back to a settlement safe. You get 1 gold or 1 XP per gold. So that's pretty cool. When you defeat a monster, you get 10 XP per hit dice times the number of special abilities they have. And then you can also earn XP a couple other ways by like training with a trainer or carousing a tavern, stuff like that. And once you level up, you roll your new HP and you get new modifier bonuses and level bonuses. Timekeeping. Time is kept in rounds that last 10 seconds. And that's mainly for combat. And then you have turns, which last 10 minutes. And that's mainly for exploring dungeons. Distance and movement works kind of like more games that I've been playing recently. That's how Fallout does it. It's kind of how Forbidden Lands does it, where you have a concept of like close, near, far, very far, and distant. And you can see a little chart here that, close is 15 meters, I guess. I think is what they use. Yeah, 15 meters. Or maybe they say feet. I don't know. I think that might be actually feet. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's pretty close, but regardless, 5 and 15 meters is close, and then you got near. Near is the normal kind of move speed, so 30 feet. Far is 60 feet, very far, and there's varying stuff that can happen at certain ranges. So very far, this is the maximum distance. For example, a light ranged weapon could be fired. And that's that. So wilderness exploration, there is a hex map, and each hex is 6 miles across and has a different terrain type defined by the most dominant type of terrain. It's not the only thing you'll find, but it's the dominant type. Travel time varies based on the terrain you're in and the transit method you're taking, I guess. But when you're traveling, you can also search a hex. You can also forage. I don't think you can do that while traveling. Those are like separate things you can do, but yeah. I don't know, actually. Now that I'm second guessing, it says while traveling across hexes, the terrain type, how long it will take. PCs can travel, search, or forage for a combined total of 8 hours. So I think, yeah, maybe not. I was wondering, like, can you forage while traveling? But it doesn't seem like that's the case. But anyway, modes of travel. So if you're traveling by foot, it's obviously going to be like pretty much the slowest. But even on, good road, it'll take you 2 hours to cross, while swamp will take you 8 hours to cross. Horse will speed that up a bit, and then cart, it's going to be close to going by foot, but then some terrains you can't even go through with horse or cart. And then each terrain also has a risk level. So there'll be encounter checks that you'll do, and you basically use this number to determine what the chance is out of 6 that your risk is. So swamps and mountains are like a 50% chance of getting into trouble, while a good road, you're not going to run into an encounter. Resting, characters should rest once per day, taking an hour or so to set up camp and eat their meal. Encounter check will be rolled once per night. Characters must eat equivalent of 1 ration of food a day or become hungry. If a character doesn't eat for a week, they become starving and they start losing health until they eat. You can forage and search. It's like a kind of downtime thing. Takes, I think they'd say minimum 4 hours. Yeah, it takes 4 hours, and then it requires a successful wisdom check to locate 1d6 rations worth of food. Dungeon exploration. So when exploring unknown areas and dungeons, characters can move up to far distance once per 10 minutes. The slow speed just assumes that player characters are carefully exploring, watching their footing, mapping and trying to be quiet, which I like. I kind of like that they give you a speed just for dungeon, because most of the time you want to assume your characters are walking slow, they're taking their time. So I kind of like that that's kind of built into the system. It just makes it easy, so you don't have to say, if you're going through the dungeon, like, oh, if you encounter a trap, like, were you watching your step, were you being careful? Like, I don't have to explicitly say that I was. Encounters, so the referee should check for wandering monsters every 2 to 3 turns, which is like 20 to 30 minutes. The chance of encounter in the dungeon is generally 1 in 6, and initial reactions of the encounter creature should be considered. There's a little initial reactions table. Traps, there's 2 types of traps, simple and complex. Both types can be disarmed or avoided if the mechanism is identified. However, disarming complex traps require thieves' tools. There is rules for evasion and pursuit. So if you want to, when a side decides to flee or avoid combat, the enemy must decide whether to wish to pursue. If they do not, evasion is successful. Pursuit assumes that all characters are moving far speed each round. There's pursuit rules, exhaustion. I'm not gonna really go into that too much. Exploration hazards. Darkness is a thing, so your characters are gonna need light if you're exploring a dark area. Falling is a thing. If you fall, every 10 feet you fall, you take D6 damage. Resting heals you up. So after a meal and a night's rest, you heal 1 hit dice plus your constitution check bonus. Should be about 8 hours or so. Magical healing is a thing that can happen. Conditions are a thing you can get. And I kind of like how this works. So characters can suffer negative conditions throughout combat or exploration, and they give you some sort of disadvantage. So characters with a condition roll relevant attribute checks or attacks with a disadvantage until the condition is cleared. So for example, a character that is blind suffers disadvantage on attacks and wisdom checks when searching for something, which I think is pretty neat. That it's kind of a little bit more, you got a bit more like wiggle room and yeah, I don't know. It's a bit more open on how you can handle conditions, which I think is pretty cool. Most conditions clear once you rest. Energy drain, I guess, is a thing, which I hope I don't have to worry about. I'm just going to kind of gloss over. Armor is pretty straightforward. You have a base armor class of 10. The higher, the better. Character that do wear armor should record their AC value and then add their dex modifier and shield bonus to give their total armor class. So like a level 2 mercenary has a dex score of 8, giving him a dex modifier of -1. So they're wearing chain armor, which has armor class of 14, carrying a shield, so that's +1. Their dex modifier is -1, so that's why their total armor class is 14. White armor, you get your full dex bonus. Medium armor, you add your dex bonus up to a maximum of 2. And then heavy armor, you add your dex bonus up to a maximum of 1, and that imposes disadvantage on all stealth-related checks. Great. This does seem like a combination of BXR, basic, expert, and naive. Naive. I don't know. I haven't heard of that one. But BXR. I need to. Yeah, is basic role playing? Is that like a kind of similar to this? That's one that I've downloaded and I've read through a while ago, but I haven't like actually played it. Shields and helmets. I quite like how shields and helmets work. So they basically provide an additional thing that you can do, which I think Forbidden Lands might have this as well. There's a couple games that I feel like I've played recently. Maybe Dragonbane. Crumpling helmets. So if a character is wearing a helmet and they're subjected to a critical hit in combat, they may elect to have their helmet crumpled, losing a point of quality. This action will nullify the damage of the incoming critical hit completely. Man, if my follower Amara with Marbash had a helmet, that may have saved her from her critical hit. Before damage, you also have splintering shields. So a character wielding a shield may elect to have their shield splintered, resulting in the shield losing 1 point of quality, and basically the same thing. Yada, yada, yada. Monsters. This is just for, you can convert over monsters from like OSR games, and this gives you like rules on how to convert them over. Combat's really straightforward. They keep this game keeps stuff basic and simple, but not like a lack of depth basic, but it's just simple. That's one thing I've kind of noticed as I was playing this game. Is like everything is just simple. And maybe it's just this style of games, like these older style games, they just do things really simply. Maybe I've been playing too many more complex-ish style games. I don't want to say complex because I know there's some complex ones out there, but anyway, combat, you have a couple steps. You do initiative. Side 1 goes, and on your turn, you have a movement action and a main action. Side 2 goes, and then you do what's called a morale check. So initiative is when you have a group of combatants. Excuse me. A side consisting of a group of combatants wins the initiative. So you basically nominate a leader or a player character to do a contested charisma check. Whoever wins gets to go first. Solo combatant, Dex becomes a relevant attribute. There's more than 2 sides and ambushes. There's a rule for that. During the action phase, you just have a movement action and a main action. So the movement action allows you to typically walk to near, providing that you are not standing within close range of an enemy. So we're about to talk about that. But you do have the option to take a minor action. So if a character wishes to perform a minor action that would take relatively little time to achieve, like drinking a potion from a belt, swapping weapons, standing up, crouching down, it can instead be performed as part of their movement, provided the character downgrades the range to half movement. So normally you can move whatever it is, the 30 feet. If you want to drink a potion, that's part of your movement, and then it goes down to 15 feet, which I really like. I like that that's kind of that minor actions kind of eat into your movement, and then that main actions are just their own thing. I quite like that system. Moving in melee, so if you're within close range of an enemy, you're considered to be engaged in melee with them. So while you're in melee, a character can only move half its usual movement. So for player characters, that means you can only move close instead of near. But once you're further away than close, then you're no longer engaged in melee and you can move again. So I don't think there's any, there's no like attack of opportunities or anything, but just while you're within close range, your movement is halved, which I think is an interesting way to kind of handle melee movement. Basic role playing and BX D&D are distinct. Oh, okay. Well, shows what I know. Main action. So this is your main action on your turn. So you can run, where you can just move again, essentially just moving far. You make an attack. You can attempt a stunt, which is kind of just doing, I don't know, like a physical thing that's going to require some sort of ability check. You can cast spells, use magic item, turn undead, significant actions, which is like pulling a heavy lever or breaking down a door. Those are definitely not like minor actions. Those would be major actions, or you can hold an action. Then the other side goes, and then you do a morale check, which is just, it happens either by killing the first member of a group, defeating half of a group, defeating a group's leader, or reducing a lone enemy to half HP. Whenever that happens, you do a morale check. You roll 2d6 compared to the NPC monster's morale, and if the roll is higher than the score, they flee. And I think that's pretty neat. So attacking, it's once again really simple. You roll a d20, you add your strength if you're doing a strength weapon, or dex if you're using a ranged weapon. And if it's greater than or equal to the defender's armor class, it hits. So yeah, melee, you use strength. Dual wielding, you can equip 2 light weapons. Just gives you an extra attack roll with disadvantage, though. If you have a 2-handed weapon, you get to roll your damage dice with advantage, which I think is pretty neat. Missile attacks is dex. And then if engaged with close, attacks with heavy ranged weapons are made with disadvantage. So yeah, if you're trying to attack with a ranged weapon, close range, you're going to have a disadvantage, which makes sense. Advantages can be given in any situations that seem like you should have an advantage. Dealing damage is pretty straightforward. For all melee attacks, the attacker adds their strength modifier to the total. I didn't know that. I haven't been doing that. That's good to know. Guess you learned something by rereading the rules. Even though I just did reread, I skimmed through this earlier, right before the stream. You could have improvised weapons. Those do just D4 damage for a melee weapon. Improvised ranged weapon deals D2 damage. Vulnerability and resistance is the thing, so some things might take double damage, some things might take half damage. Backstab is a thing, so if you strike with a light melee weapon against an unaware target, it deals triple damage, and it's made with advantage. So that's very much like a rogue style thing. Helpless opponents, attacks against helpless opponents automatically crit. So critical hits on attack, if you roll natural 20, the defender's armor loses a point of quality and they take an additional die of damage. So from 1d6 to 2d6. Critical misses always miss, and the attacker's weapon loses a point of quality, which I think is pretty interesting. I think both of those are pretty neat. So not only does critical hits and miss, they always hit or they always miss, but they also affect either the weapon or the armor, which I think is kind of fun. At 0 quality, an item is destroyed. A point of quality costs 10% of the item's cost to repair. Good stuff. Attempting stunts. It's pretty much anything cool you want to do that would require like an athletics check or something. Trying to kick sand in their face to blind an enemy. Stuff like that. Most are resolved with a contested attribute check. You can work with your team to do cool stuff. Character death, you make a con check. If you fail, you're dead. If you succeed, you're just knocked unconscious. You also have this option to do like scars and scratches. So instead of like outright killing your character, they just have like bad injuries. Here's all of character creation. We'll come back to this once I finish covering a few more rules. Here's the shopping list, which I have printed out. Not a crazy amount of items, but they got all the basics you really can need. And it fits all on one page and is all just in gold, which is kind of nice. So downtime. There are downtime rules, which is great. So there's different complexities for downtimes, and they will output different rarity items, but also they require a minimum check bonus for some of them. So if you want to make rare items, the stat you want to use, let's just say you're making rare spells, and that requires intelligence, your intelligence check bonus has to be a minimum of 6 to be able to do that activity. There's a resolution table. Yeah, you can smith items. That requires strength. Item crafting generally requires intelligence. Enchanting is either strength or intelligence. You might need special materials for some things. You can see here that the time and the value, the complexity, and the output effects. So if you want to make a really cool +2 sword, that's going to take 16 days, 5,000 gold, and it's going to be complex, which means I'm going to need +6 in whatever stat I want to use. There's alchemy, where you can make potions. There's spell inscribing. There's selling magic items. You can commission your work. So if you don't want to do it yourself, you can try to go find somebody. I really like they got rules for gambling in here. So if you just want to spend your time gambling, you can do that. They have crime and punishment table to, if you do certain crimes and your character gets caught, what the punishment and fine is, which once again, I really like. It's just a small little table in a small little section, but I feel like any game I'm getting into, especially if I'm playing with other people, like we're up to no good. We're getting in trouble. So I like having that there. Also, like there's arena fighting where you can go to arena and there's different wagers that you can place and you can get money for fighting, and you could choose to do like, if both opponents agree, you could do lethal fights, which is very cool. Yeah. Should we start with a high level character for survivability? Yes, I was actually planning on doing probably a level 2 character and a level 2 follower today. Maybe I could go a little bit higher, but I think, yeah, level 1 was a bit too low, I think. Which, speaking of followers, that's a thing you can do in this game, and they're pretty simple to track. So they might have an upkeep fee. You have a limit per player character. They have a morale level, so if stuff gets too crazy, they'll just bail. They have a primary attribute. They have their primary attributes, which you check, and they have a level, and that's pretty much it. They have a couple more details, like you can see on the back of my character sheet. their name, hit points, armor, their movement, their weapon, their damage, their morale, and their wage. And I'm probably gonna at least start with 1, maybe get to 2 at some point here. But there's different types of followers and kind of hirelings you can get. So you can get unskilled hirelings, just assist with pretty basic tasks. You can get skilled hirelings for like crafting and whatnot. You can hire mercenaries, which are more for fighting. You can upgrade them to companions, which like there's a separate sheet here just for companions, which looks pretty similar, but has like XP and a couple of extra boxes to track like their inventory and stuff like that, which I'm gonna probably not do today just to keep things moving. There's an availability chart, but yeah, followers is pretty straightforward. I like it. Once again, there's so much stuff in this book I like. They have a whole little half page here about player-owned buildings and how the availability of it works, how renting and buying properties works, how building properties work, construction rates, material costs, strongholds, how security works for securing your places. Like, very cool stuff. Not going to get to it today, but very cool. Same with like domains. Like they have mass battle rules. Normally not stuff I care for much, but it's cool that they include it. Very cool. Arcane magic spells section with example spells. I'm not doing spell casting, so I'm just going to skip through this section. The GM and solo tools, which there's a good amount here. There's an oracle, which I'm going to be using mythic today. And random events, I'm probably not going to actually use any of this. They have a nice verbs and nouns table, which is one of the things I do have printed out up here that I'll be using. This play procedure I will also have printed out, and I'll be kind of following to an extent, mainly whenever we leave a civilization or out in the wild, then I'll kind of follow this where you roll for weather at the beginning of the day, you do stuff during the day, and as you do stuff, you roll a encounter roll to see if anything happens. You resolve the encounter, keep doing your stuff. At the end of the day, you eat your meal, go to sleep, and then overnight, another encounter roll is made. The encounter checks vary depending on your location. So wilderness, lots more stuff can happen. Or if you're in a dungeon, there's not as much risk. Wilderness, you can search and forage and travel. Dungeoning, you're mainly just doing what's called delving. The depths. Oh, okay, sorry. I don't know. I must have skipped this section last time about the dungeoning adventures, but that's okay. Then there's just a lot more tables here. Lots of great tables. So one thing I really like is this little section here about quests. So this is to help generate random quests. So you first roll on like the quest type. Is it character-based, item-based, or location-based? If it's character-based, it tells you kind of an action and then a subject. Is it some urban character, rural character? And then there's some tables, I think, to come that have like urban, rural, like job professions, which is pretty cool. You got item-based quests, which is another, you got the action and the subject, location-based quests. I think that's pretty cool. It's only a page long, but that's like perfect to just get something basic going, right? You got all the tables for wilderness travel. Not going to go into depth with that. All the tables for dungeons, so generating the size, the theme, what you find in the dungeon, dungeon traps, stuff like that. Settlement, so got different settlement locations, trade goods, crimes that are going on, settlement focus, settlement problems. You got faction kind of generator over here. One thing that kind of surprised me that I don't know if I love, but I can maybe come around to. I also didn't realize my iPad's been like off center. I am so sorry. I don't know how long that's been like that. Is there's really no like bestiary for this game. Like there's example creatures that you can definitely use, and there's like 2 pages of them, but it really seems like this game wants you to just create your own creatures, which I'm pretty fine with. I just wish it was a little bit more clear about how exactly that works. But you basically, when you encounter a creature, you roll on this creature table with a modifier based on where you are to get what type of creature it is. There's a reaction table. You can assign a strength to it. What's its current activity? If it's a beast, what kind of beast? If it's a humanoid, what kind of humanoid? Stuff like that. You can give, there's like special abilities over here, the behavior up there. So there's a good amount, enough to piece stuff together, but I was a little lost at first. But they give you a good amount of examples. Some really nice character tables to get some personality traits, occupations. So this is what I was talking about, the character like occupation tables based on like region and whatnot, which is pretty neat. Character details, physical appearance, clothing, quirk, stuff like that, I think are great tables to have. They have name tables. Sometimes games don't give you name tables, which I'm glad they do. Treasure tables to figure out treasure. Example items, and we're at the back of the book. That was the entire book. Now we're going to create our character, which luckily is a pretty straightforward task. So let me jump to that, and let's get creating a character. So, let's roll for stats. Okay, so this game, yeah, you roll for your stats, and you assign them basically, I think, just in order. It says, in turn, recording the totals and corresponding modifiers for each. So that's how I'm going to do it. You roll 3d6, and you just go down the line, and then optionally at the end, you can swap two of your stats. But let's roll this up and see how I get. See what I get. So hopefully a decent first stat. That is bad. Is it only 3d6? Yikes, that's an 8 for strength. Dex. Okay, we get 12. It's not bad. I might need to swap something for strength if we get a lot higher numbers somewhere else. That's an 8 for constitution. I'm gonna be weak. You kidding me? Maybe I'll be a ranged character, I guess, at this rate. There we go. That's 17 for intelligence. Yeah, I might swap that for strength. That's crazy. That's almost a max roll. Wisdom. That's a 16. Maybe I should be a spellcaster, man. I don't want to play a spellcaster today, but this character really would fit the role well, I think. And then we get 12 for our final roll. So overall, not terrible. I am going to swap some stats around. So I will swap my strength and my intelligence. I want to more play a melee user this first go, so I'll be a dumb, strong guy. So make that 8 and make that 17, and stats are done. Great, just like that. Let me real quick also get a name going. So whoops. Roll 2d6 on the 3d6 on the human name table. 4, 4, 5. Morgana. Okay, I like the name. Sounds like more of a gal's name, so that's what we're going with here. Experience is 0. Level 1 experience for next level is 2,000. Gold and stash, I'm going to start with 30 because I'm going to take the, what's it called? They have like pre-made items that you can choose from, and that's what I'm going to use. So let me fill in these. I want to figure out what my primary. So I want to be strength is going to be for sure one of my primaries. I think maybe dex or I don't know. What's wisdom used for? Maybe constitution. Probably if I'm going to be somewhat of a frontliner, I need to have a good constitution. Oh, I guess I am going to be level 2. I forgot I wanted to be level 2 actually. So let's start at that, because I don't want to die so quick this game. We'll start with 2,000 experience. One thing I was trying to figure out, and maybe you RPG players out there could lend some insight, because I sometimes get a little tripped up on this. So this says, you start at level 1, you have 0 XP. You hit level 2 once you hit 2,000 XP, right? According to this table. What happens then? Do you stay at 2,000 XP or do you reset back to 0? Does your XP keep running? I think normally that's how you are supposed to play. That's how I play it. But I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know if the game is, because some games are like that, where like once you hit the XP threshold, you go back to 0 XP and then you start again. Well, some of these, like, I don't know. It doesn't specify me to reset, so that's why I don't. But I think like Fallout's the same way, where I was always like a little confused. Like, it doesn't necessarily specify, and like if you don't reset, you level up fairly quickly, but I don't know if that's the way they intend it. But I don't know. Today, I'm playing that. I'm starting with 2,000. My next level is at 4,000. So we'll just keep the XP running. because big number is better. Since it's compatible with OSR, perhaps they figured you could easily port a common creature, so they gave players a build a creature table. Now, I totally get why they did it. And they even had like a little section about like converting creatures over. Yeah, I guess I just like didn't know going into this, and I wish they were maybe not gave more examples, maybe gave a walkthrough on like how exactly to create one, but with enough examples, it was easy enough to figure out. The main thing I was confused on is like, how do you do health value, right? So if it's like, but it's the whole concept of hit dice. So it's like, okay, if I'm fighting a level, in my case, like that last, with the Marbash, I was fighting like a level 6 ape. Okay, this 6 ape, it's level 6. That means it has 6 hit dice. Okay. Is strength its primary, is constitution its primary stat? Yeah, it's one of its primary stats. Okay, it's rolling with D8 hit dice. So I roll 6 D8s, and then I add its con modifier, which I don't know what that would be, but it might be its level. Like it never specifies anywhere that I'm supposed to do all that, but it talks about that for the player perspective. So I just assume that's kind of what I was supposed to do, but it also mentions like you could do averages. So like one hit dice is average of like 4 for D6 and something else for D8. And then I guess you just times that by the level number, and then that gives you your HP. But like none of that was really explained to me, and I was just kind of assuming as I was going. Anyway, let me fill in some of these modifier values real fast. So let's see, we got a modifier 17 for our strength. That's +2. That's crazy. And then with that being our primary attribute of level 2, we're adding +4 to that. That is crazy. 12 is a good old +0. And that's just a +1 to dex rolls. 8 is -1 to constitution. But that is primary stats. We're adding +2. +2 -1 is just +1. 8 is a -1. That cancels out to just being +0. 16 is +2. And then +half, that's +3. 12 is 0, +1. So we don't have any negative checks, but humanoids typically have 1 hit dice. Bears have like 3. Yeah, they do, like I said, like they give good examples, but even, I mean, where I was getting confused, like I said, was specifically the health. They don't give any indication on how health should work, and they do give tons of examples, but like a bear, for example. A bear is level 5. Like how does that translate to health? That's where I was getting confused, which I guess if you just apply like the same hit dice system that like, okay, strength is its con, so you take a D8 times that average by 5, and that gives you like a quick number maybe. That's where I was getting a little tripped up. But yeah, I also think that's just something that if you've played with these types of games a decent amount, you're probably just familiar with, and I'm just not. So like, that's a me issue for sure. I'm not bashing the game at all. Okay, well, our character's coming along. Morgana, the level 2. She's probably going to be like some sort of melee user. That's why I maxed out strength, right? So let's go back to character creation and keep going through that. I clicked the wrong button. Okay. So we can move this out of the way. Because, yeah, it says like up here, like con is primary, a D8, so an average of 5 hit points. So in that case, you could just take D8 or 5 times. That would be like 25 hit points for a level 5 creature. Okay, or 4 if it's its secondary. I mean, it's too complicated. It's just I didn't know how to do it, so I'm just confused. Unless they say otherwise, you just keep building on XP. Like Pathfinder, you spend XP to level up. So you spend 1,000 XP, and it goes away when you level up. Yeah, so short live comments are, yeah. Okay, that's what most of the time, unless it specifies me to reset my XP, I'm just gonna play it that it just keeps going and it just keeps growing. Yeah. Also, how hit dice are treated are so different per game that you can't do anything without knowing the rules of the game you're playing. Yeah, that's fair. I guess because I was just getting a little confused. But I guess if level directly translates to hit dice, then yeah, I mean I kind of figured it out, and they have a nice little like on the quick reference that's like Okay, con is a primary, then it's a D8 or average of 5, and yeah. It's just something I had to figure out, and they didn't really lay it out for me, but that's okay. I'm just complaining at this point. Speaking of hit points, let's go ahead and roll. So Constitution is one of my primary stats. So that means I roll a D8. I actually roll 2D8 and add my Constitution modifier, which is -1. So whatever the total of these 2D8 is, I add a -2. So for a good roll, okay, it's 11 total. But then, yeah, -2, so it's 9 max HP. Which is a lot more. I mean, Marbash had 5. He was level 1 also, but he had 5, so he died pretty quick. 9 feels a little bit more comfortable. Okay, physical appearance, notable detail, clothing, and quirk. I really like these tables, so we're gonna definitely do them. They should only take a second. There's a little spot at the bottom of the character sheet down here for character details. So let's get some character details about Morgana. First off, her appearance, 33, hulking. Okay. Notable detail, 33 again. Long hair. Okay. Clothing, 21. Eccentric. And quirk, I like rolling 2. So we're going to give her 2 different little quirks. 36 is she's motionless. What, like she doesn't swing her arms when she walks? Like she's holding invisible suitcases? And 62, talks to self. Okay. So now we need to go back here. Occupation. Go with the urban occupation. That's one thing that's nice about using PDF, as you see. And maybe it's just this PDF specifically, but they actually, like, you could click on the links to the tables and then it takes you to the tables. Okay, so we want occupation. I might just pick. See what urban jobs. I kind of wanted to be like an armor smith or something, or like an armorer. Yeah. An armorer, and maybe I'll roll for a random thing on like the urban table. 55. A spy. Okay. Jeez, my last whole adventure was about spying. It seems like I just can't get away from that spy in life. Alignment. We'll roll a d6 to see what her alignment is. 5. Neutral. Okay. Starting gear, we'll figure out in a second. I think starting gear is actually the last thing besides the follower. So let's actually figure that out now. What's nice is they have some outlines for how you can do starting gear, or they have these little quick equipment that you can just select. They're kind of based on just general categories and yeah, just give you some starting equipment so you don't have to go through and pick stuff out yourself, which is cool. I'm probably gonna go with like the knight. Broadsword, chain armor, a shield. That sounds like a good time. Primary attribute, strength and charisma. I mean, mine's strength and con. So I guess it might be more like a barbarian. I don't know if you have to match up with the primary attributes it recommends. Yeah, it says suggested primary attributes. So knight would make more sense for like, well, it would be, but I guess maybe Morgana's more of like a barbarian. But I kind of want to have nicer armor if she's like an armorer, right? So that's the main thought process there. So let's go with the knight equipment. So first off, we start with chain armor. So they spell like that, I guess. It takes up two slots, and it has 4 quality. So it has base 14 armor class. We are carrying a shield, so that's +1. And then we add dex modifier, which our dex modifier is +0, but this is... Oh, it's still just +0. So that's just 15 armor class total, which is pretty dang good. 30 feet movement speed, which is the average. Level modifiers, primary is 2, secondary is 1. We're looking pretty good here. I just need to finish up my other stuff. So broadsword is our main weapon. And that's a quality 3. We have one of that also takes up 2 slots. Add that to our readied weapons broadsword. Weapon bonus, it's just a +0, but then it's D8 plus strength modifier, so +2. Not bad. Okay, what else we got? So we got a shield. I'm guessing that just has quality 1. We have a helmet. That's handy. Holy water. I don't know how handy that'll be, but hey, you never know. Animal feed. Oh, okay. And 2 rations. I forget what's the on this real quick reference. Inventory slot situation. Is it plus the check bonus that I get? Do I have 14 slots total? Let me figure that out real fast. It is the strength check bonus. So I currently have 14 inventory slots, which is pretty good. I mean, average person has 10. I got 14. That's 4 extra things I can carry because I'm already maxed out. But you know, they give you lots of items to work with. But that's it for starting out here. The one last thing I want to do is get a follower going. So follower, let's get a name. Oh boy, how do I get to the name table fast? There we go. 446 is Maureen. This playlist already almost over. I feel like I just started it. I guess there's more. That's the end of the good songs. Okay, they're gonna be level 2. I don't know what I want to make their profession. I kind of... Let's see, if they're gonna be teaming with me, we'll just also maybe make them a knight. That's just simple enough. So we'll make their strength and con hit points. Con is their primary, so we'll do average of 5, so they have 10 hit points. Armor, we'll just copy me, so they have 15. Move is 30. Weapon broadsword. Damage is D8 plus 2, maybe? I don't know. Normally it'd be, it's plus 2. Yeah, because it's strength modifier. Morale, I don't know. Wage, none. Boom, we're ready. We're set up. Okay, just like that. Doing not terrible on time. So I was making sure I got everything else in place. So let me show you the town we're starting in. So I drew up this town map. It's going to be it's not a great town map. But what I figured out about me drawing town maps is I don't love, drawing the details, but I like having kind of different districts of the town, different regions of the town set up. So that's what I did for this map is just kind of drew the different regions of the town and the different areas stuff is going on just to have some idea of the locations and whatnot. So we're starting in Elk Heights, which this is a little settlement map that or settlement sheet that comes with the game. It's a city, so it's a pretty big, city. And it's in the forest region. Its primary focus is hunting. One of their primary exports is like furs and hides and whatnot. They also export narcotics and medicine. So that's why it's like off to the one side they got a river coming through the town here. Off to this top edge, they have the hunting grounds, which I started actually drawing stuff, and I was like, I'm not going to do this. This is going to take way too long. Along the rivers, the riverside fields. I also could have been more creative with the names, but I just wanted something. Riverside fields is where a lot of the like narcotics and medicine are grown because of the special soil that they find near the river is good for growing these types of crops. You got a main river going through it. Got a little marketplace area here by the river. You got Groves Lane up this way, which is more towards the outskirts of town and is like the mostly residential area. And you got the valley is what I call it, which is like more of a valley. That's also where most of the businesses are. And that's Elk Heights, population 10,000. Leadership is wealthy elites. The two main factions. So the two main factions, you got the Seventh Layer, is what I called them, which is a cultist fringe group that's causing trouble in the city for the Stallentisches, is what I call them, which is the royal family. The Stallentisches are the royal family that runs the town. And they are having issues with the Seventh Layer kind of cult group as of recently. So they've been butting heads. And that's actually like the reason Marbash originally came to this town was because of, well, freeing the prisoners, but then also to spy on the Stallentisches, and then started getting a little bit into what's going on with the Seventh Layer, and then fell into a pit with an ape. It's a tale as old as time. But hopefully Morgana's tale goes a little bit differently. But what I want to figure out is a little bit more table setting stuff. So real quick, specifically, I'm going to be using Mythic. I already have a couple characters. So I have Elk Heights, the Seventh Layer, the Stallentisches, all as characters, as I imagine they'll be appearing in this little playthrough here. But the couple things I want to figure out real fast is Morgana, I'm going to say, is not from Elk Heights. So what is she doing in Elk Heights? What is she, the follower, we'll say, was sent here to help whatever she is doing, and as they're from like the same hometown. So I kind of want to figure a short kind of current quest that Morgana is doing, and then maybe a more long-term quest that she could be doing, right? So once we figure out those two things, and maybe figure out, what day we're starting on, we'll kind of just hop in and start playing. I'll also show you, so I did start working on a bit of a world map. Not very much. This is like the Hex world map. Over here, number 2 is where Elk Heights is. This region that we're in is called the Wells Fargo land. And that's because in this spot, number 1, there is an ancient well that there's many legends around. So they call it the Wells Fargo land. Elk Heights is over here. And then way up north, which I didn't really draw it in, but this is where Winter's Landing is, that Marbash and Amara were from. So there you go. That's the setting we're playing in. Not too much has been established. Like I said, Marbash, I literally got to like scene 4 before him and Amara died. And I think that was definitely on me not knowing how to properly balance stuff out. But that's, you live and you learn. Luckily, Marbash didn't live, but I learned, right? So that's kind of what counts. So Threadless. So let's figure out what is Morgana's current quest. What is she? And I already forgot my companion's name. I'm such a jerk. Maureen. Morgana and Maureen. They call them M&M. What are they up to here in Elk Heights? So yeah, let's do like a verb noun roll. That should be decent. That'll get us something to work with. So we got 365. What, like the Charlie XCX song? I've been listening to Charlie so much. She released the new remix album for Brat on like Friday. I've listened to it numerous times since coming out. I am a big fan of it. One of the songs is 365. Anyway, Overindulge. I don't know how much I like that word. Overindulge. We're gonna reroll. I'm not feeling overindulge. We got 3, 6, 4 this time. Okay, one less. Open. Sure. So what are they doing here? Open and a noun. 4, 4, 6. Open liberty. That's pretty vague. Open liberty. I don't know how much I like liberty, so we're gonna maybe get another word to maybe work with. 2, 3, 4. Open business. I kind of like that a little bit better. I mean, liberty I could work with, but I think open business sounds kind of more fun. I don't know what that's going to entail. Like I said, so we traveled from some town. Let me use Table Fables real fast. Like I said, I'm only going to use Table Fables for like 2 things, but one of them will be snagging their town name generator, which I quite like. So let's get a hometown for where Morgana and Maureen are from, and that's going to be May Landing. Okay. I'm also going to restart the soundtrack. There we go. Go back to the good stuff. May Landing. Okay, we're going to put that as a character. May Landing. So that's where those two are from. And oh, that map looks amazing. Which map? The hex map? There's barely anything there. This map, I don't know. I made it very colorful, which I probably didn't need to. But I just wanted to like separate the areas, and the colors obviously don't really have anything to do with like the areas they're in. But I don't know. I definitely like having just different regions mapped out, and knowing like, okay, the valley is next to Groves Lane where the residential is, and that's across the river from the hunting grounds. Like, it gives me some kind of spatial idea of where stuff is in this town, even if it's a very abstract. That's good enough for me, really. Got to get rid of the tariffs, man. Those tariffs. I was learning a bit about tariffs because I don't know much about them, and yeah, they sometimes they aren't as good as I think people think they are, because they don't realize who's paying for what when it comes to tariffs. Anyway, so threads. So we're here to open business. What does that mean? Does that have? So we're gonna start prompting Mythic now, because I got some questions and Mythic has the answers. Open business, is this something, I assume, for somebody in May Landing? I'm gonna go with very likely. It is. Okay. Maybe we're opening our own business. This could be a chill, this could be a chill adventure. My last one ended with me falling in a pit with a fungus-infested ape. This time I might be opening a cafe in a city and just doing that. Getting into no combat. That's how you don't die, is you just open up like a bakery in a city, and there you go. That'll be the adventure today. So we're opening a business for in May Landing. I guess there's like business tables I could roll on stuff, right? Sometimes I don't know exactly where the table is that I want, but there we go. Character like occupation? No, I want the settlement location. Let's get like a public settlement location to see maybe what kind of business we're helping to open. 53 stables. Okay. They look the same to me. I mean, fair enough. So we're here to open stables. Why would they need a armor smith, basically 2 fighters, to travel to a town to help open a stables? Open a stable. Could be that they want to open it kind of part of the edge of town, and that part of town is, maybe there's like creatures that frequent there that need cleared out or something like that. Maybe the land they bought for the stables is no longer like there's like a dispute for it, and the person that was originally going to sell it isn't wanting to sell it anymore, and we have to resolve that dispute. That could be kind of fun. A whole legal battle, though I don't know. It seems like I'm about to get into a legal battle in Forbidden Lands, so I don't know if I'm trying to do that this time around. Okay, so we're opening a stables for someone in May landing that's not us. We're equipped fighters, so I think if they wanted to like negotiate a contract, we probably wouldn't be the ones to do it. I would say. So let's just say the land they want to open the stables on isn't safe, and they need someone to like protect the builders as they put up like the fences outside. Maybe that, yeah, they want protection provided as construction is going on. That could be something. First thing that came to my mind for the stables was Pony Express title thing where they come in and change horses. They change horse like Pony Express. Isn't that like male stuff? What is right? That's not okay. I don't know, but I mean, what the business is definitely we haven't we can lock that in later. But I think they're trying to start a business. They want to build a stables. It's not a safe area. They need protection while they build it. So I think that's what we're doing here in Elk Heights. So our first thread will be protect stable construction workers. That sounds decent. So that might be good enough just to start us out as like a starting quest. But then I also want to figure out what's maybe, it doesn't have to be, Morgana's whole life quest or anything, but like what's something long term that she is trying to accomplish? Why is she traveling to Elk's Height to protect some workers at a stable? Like what's her long game here? Does she want to be here in Elk Heights for some reason? Is just the money is good? Does she just love horses? That could be. I mean, Elk Heights is more of a hunting town, so I don't think an armor smith would really want to like stay here much. Maybe it's a good trading town. Maybe use the verb noun again. We'll try to get some. What's maybe Morgana's kind of long-term current goal? So 541 is stop. Okay. 241 stop danger. Stop danger. Okay. So maybe May Landing isn't too far away from Elk Heights, and protect danger. So maybe, I don't know, like maybe Elk Heights is like a pretty important trading route and an important city for May Landing. So I mean, she came here for this job, but then also just to protect the city from other dangers. Maybe she has like a friend here, maybe like family lives here. I don't know. Like there could be some other reasoning behind it. Let me ask Mythic, is it because like Morgana has like family here? I'll say that's likely. Yeah, it's because Morgana has some family here, so she has a little bit of a personal interest in the city and wants to help protect it. So that's why she came here for this job, and even though she's new to the city, she's gonna try to stay around and train her skills up while also trying to protect the city that seems to be having some issues with, creatures attacking construction workers. And then also you have the more big picture issues going on in the city with the 7th layer cultist group that's feuding with the Stalintish's family that kind of runs the town. So there's stuff going on there. But yeah, we'll put that as our other group to protect Elk Heights. Kind of, that's a bit of a lofty thread, but we'll put it down. And then maybe let me get a name real fast for whoever Morgana's like family member is that lives here, and then I think that'll be good to at least get started. We can kind of go from there. I actually want to get into playing here soon. 325 is Kara. Kara, we will just say, I don't know. Is that like her cousin? Say likely. No. Is it more closely related to her? Let's say likely. No, it's not more closely related. So is it like I don't know. So it's with some like kind of distant family, but maybe she doesn't have a whole lot of family, so she's she's willing to kind of protect the ones that she does have. So yeah. Before our modern era of next day, we had horses deliver things. Then Telegram ended that. So yeah, maybe that's what they're doing is Elk Heights is a pretty important town that's nearby, so they want to establish a more quick line of communications between the towns. So that could be a legit business. Perhaps a fine steed. What do you mean by a fine steed? Like what kind of steeds they have for the stable? I don't even know what kind of horses there's. So like, oh, let me look at the item list. I'm curious if there's different types of horses now. There are. Okay, so you have draft horses, riding horses, and war horses. Interesting. Saddlebags are extra? Man, that sucks. So since they're trying to build stables, that means transportation will get better. It's maybe important to stop danger she's trying to do. That's true. I mean, a good line of communication, that's always helpful to have. Yeah. Okay. So I think, we got 5 characters on the list. We got 2 threads going. I think that's good enough to get started. So let me set that over and get my little journal here. Let me roll a D100 to see what day it is. I'm gonna re-roll. I want something a little bit lower. Okay, I want something a little bit higher. Perfect. 27. So we're gonna start on spring 27. And let's do a quick weather roll. I'm trying to think. I don't remember what the weather table is. It's somewhere in wilderness. Yeah, here we go. 2d6 and say it's spring is the wet season. So a 6 means there is light rain today. How I kind of like to, I've probably talked about this. How I like to kind of do my like calendar system in most RPGs is I play it pretty loose, and I don't do actual like months. I just do season. So like, and normally I just do 100 days in each season, 400 days in a year. So today is spring 27. It just makes it a little bit easier in RPG wise, just so I know what season it is. I don't have to worry about like coming up with like fantasy months, and then I don't know. I feel like it's just a little bit easier. I don't really track days of the week or month. I just track what season it is, what day it is, the weather, and then, the time as I'm going along. Okay, so let's see. How long have we been in Elk Heights? Did we just arrive within the last like couple of days? I think is very likely. No. Okay, so we've been here a little bit longer than just a few days. So we've been established in the city, slowly kind of getting our bearings, figuring out where everything is. So at this point, we've probably been protecting them for a while. Maybe it's only like at night that stuff's an issue. Maybe they work fine through the day and don't really have too many issues, but they want to get the stable done pretty quick. So that means working at night, which means more dangerous creatures are out. So we're kind of taking the night watch. So honestly, I mean, maybe we just start at one of those night watches, and that's a good place to start. So scene 1 will be watch out for creatures. We'll start with a chaos factor of 5. Since this is the first scene, I'm not going to roll for a scene alteration or interruption. Going forward, I will, but it's the first scene, so we'll just kind of play it as is. Normally I like throwing in the time somewhere, but it's probably pretty late. Like, we'll say, I don't know, like 10 o'clock? Something like that, 10 p.m.? We got a quick sip before we start here. All right. So watch out for creatures. So what is perception normally? That's like wisdom, right? Like skill wise, like, okay. I guess we're both probably being pretty perceptive. I mean, we're getting paid for this just to watch out for these stable workers. So I'm curious. So we've probably been doing this for a couple nights now. Let's just say, like, for example, last night, did we encounter anything? I don't know. I would say it's probably like 50-50. Did we encounter something last night? Whoops. Did we encounter something last night? Mythic says no. Last night was a pretty calm night. I'm just trying to think of how likely it is going to be that we encounter something tonight. So we are standing around waiting, kind of doing little patrols around the stable area as they're working through the night. There's a light rain outside. Nothing like a downpour that's really affecting visibility too much, but it is, making it hard to hear if there's a rustling in the bush when you have this pitter-patter of rain coming down. This is a stable, so I imagine it's kind of on the edge of town, probably in the hunting grounds area somewhere. So let's see, as we're waiting around, keeping watch, do we encounter anything? I'm going to say very likely. Let's get some action. Does anything happen? Yes, stuff does happen. We do encounter something. So after keeping watch for a while, we're, like I said, we're hearing kind of slight bit of rain and wind, so we're being alert. Then after a while, we see a shadow approach of something. Let's see what it is. So roll 2d6, and then I add +1 since we're in the wilderness to this roll. Uh-oh, that's pretty high. That's a 9. So it's almost a monster, but thankfully it's not. That's a beast. So then we need to roll a random beast. So I'm going to roll 3d6 to see what kind of beast is approaching the stables. 4, 4, 6. So it's an earthbound beast. 4d6 is a rat. A rat approaches. Okay. Love that. Is there an example of a rat over here? There's a warp rat. I don't quite know what that is. I also need to double check, but beasts normally don't have special abilities. Okay, we're good. So they're probably gonna be. We'll just say it's like a giant rat, just because there's probably I don't want to do like multiple rats right now. I made this little like flashcard. I don't know that I just wrote in pen to kind of outline like a creature. So I can write like their name there, their level. Let's make them like level. I don't know. Instead of warp rat is 1, so we'll make this a giant rat that's a level 2. Now we'll make it level 3. I want it to be semi-challenging, especially because we're level 2 characters. Like we should be able to handle something a little bit tougher. So we'll make it level 3. A stat. What were the stats for their rat example? Dex and wisdom. So I would say, yeah, Dex is probably. We'll go with Dex and Wisdom, sure, which means Constitution isn't one of their primary stats, so we just take this times 4, so they have 12 HP. That seems like kind of a lot. That might be tough. Armor, it seems like this is something you kind of just guesstimate on. I'm going to go with like 12. That seems fine. Morale, once again, there's no like set numbers for some of this stuff. I'm going to go with 7. I'm just looking at some of the other things. Like their rat is 6, so we'll go with 7. Movement 30 feet. Special ability is none. The rat attacks. It's gonna definitely have a bite attack. Will probably be its main attack. Yeah, we'll just do 1 times. It's like a bite attack. That will do, I don't know, like D6 damage. Is that too much? That might be too much. They should be able to handle it. Famous last words. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. D6 might be too much. D6 is probably okay. I think that's. Let me look at another, like. Yeah, I think that's fine. Amount of damage. I just don't want to do too much. I'm like traumatized now. I don't want to like they don't give me any guidelines on how to balance encounters, how to like properly make enemies. So I'm, you know, after my last character, I'm being cautious. No treasure description. I'm not going to write any. So that's all we really need. Okay, so let's get into some combat right away. Scene 1. Look at that. Let's see how it ends. But I'm going to go to the combat section just to have that pulled up. So first we're going to roll initiative. So who will be the one rolling initiative? Choose somebody that is going to be doing a contested charisma roll. My charisma is +1, but it's probably charisma modifier, right? Or no, it's charisma check. No, it's constant. It's a contested charisma check. I think I would add the whole thing. Okay, so I'll do it because I'm probably gonna be the best at it. So Morgana's gonna do the charisma check for initiative, and she gets a 14, which I think is safely enough more than theirs, because theirs is 10 plus half the level. It's 11, so I think we're going first. So Morgana and Maureen are doing their kind of rounds around the construction area of this stable. Like I said, still light rain coming down. It's in a forested area. There's some clearings around. And then they start hearing some rustling in one of the bushes nearby. And it gets a little bit louder. And then out of it, kind of trotting towards them pretty quickly, they see this massive rat-looking creature. And yeah, Morgana just already has her broadsword at the ready. With that in one hand, her shield in the other. She uses her movement to run up to the rat, which we can... Well, actually, I don't know if we can. We might hold action and wait for it to approach us. Let me see. I know there's something you can roll for to see their starting distance. So let me see that real fast. That might change things, because if I can't get to it, I'm not going to run after it, right? I know there was a table. I saw this. Yeah, how far away are they? So in the wilderness, I roll a d6. A 1 is far. So that would take my whole turn of movement just to get to them. So I'm going to hold my action. I think Maureen is also going to hold her action. And the rat just takes its turn to run towards us. It spots us because we're just standing outside. We're like pretty... We got some distance between us and like the workers. So it's not even caring about the workers at the moment. We're probably like maybe hitting our like shields and whatnot and trying to make a ruckus, trying to lure it towards us. And it starts running towards us. It takes its movement to do so. And I would assume it's probably not doing anything else. So it's just going to dash and basically get to us. It's within close range, but then it used its action. So it doesn't have its action. So then it's back to Morgana. I guess it did get within range, but we'll just skip that for now. We'll just go back to Morgana. I think I'm going to win this easily. I don't need the extra action. Famous last words. Morgana is going to swing her broadsword. So D20, this is melee checks. We're adding +4. That is a 4 total. That does not beat their 12 armor. So that's a swing and a miss. Not good, Morgana. Maureen is going to go. She has also strength as her primary. So +2. That's a 17 + 2 is 19. That hits. So Morgana swings and misses, but Maureen hits. Let's use the red dice for the hit dice. So it's D8 + 2 is 4 damage to the rat as she brings her sword down and does a decent chunk of damage. Basically does a third. Brings it down to 8 health. Slashes at this massive rat at their feet, but thing's definitely not dead yet, and it looks mad. So then it looks up at Maureen and is going to attempt to bite at her. So it's going to be a, I don't know. It's just a strength attack, I guess. So we'll do that. That's a 4. It's not its primary, so it would add probably 1. So that's a 5. That misses. So it tries to bite, but Maureen kind of grabs her leg out of the way and is able to dodge that. Now we're back to Morgana, who's going to try to swing her broadsword again. See if we can actually get a hit. Not even close. Rolled a 2. So Maureen, I'm gonna roll different dice. Let's see if Maureen can get another hit in. 10 plus her 2 is 12, which does meets the armor class. And I think meets it, beats it. So we're gonna do damage. But barely, it barely met it. We could kill it this turn, and we do. We rolled an 8. So 8 plus 2 is 10 damage. Maureen, with it at its feet, she lines up her shot with her broadsword, swings the axe, and kills the giant rat. And I guess that's that. Erase the stat block. I was thinking about, like laminating this and then just doing this with dry erase marker, which maybe I should have done. Probably would have been a little bit easier, but oh well. This works for now. That's the other thing. It's like they don't have stat blocks I could use, so I got to like make my own and then erase them after. But hooray, we killed it. No deaths. We didn't even take any damage. Good start. Good start. I'll put that over there for now. We also get some XP, right? That was level 3. I think it's times 10 for the XP. Like 10 times the hit dice. Or like the level, I think. Let me double check that's correct. But I think that was it. Yeah, 10 times 10 XP per hit dice. I would assume all XP is just like per character. So that's 30 XP. Making our way. 30 XP down, like 3,970 to go. No, 2,000. No. We had 2,000 originally, so now we're down to 1,970. Okay, that's not as bad. It's still a lot. It's going to take some time. Okay. They stopped the first rat. Great. Does another rat come? So as, you know, they kind of retake their post up and continue on through the night. Does anything else come as they're guarding the site? The construction site of the stable. I'll leave it unlikely, but say there's still a chance. Ooh, that's an 8, which is a yes. It's almost an extreme yes, but that is a yes. So we do have more trouble. More combat. Okay, if you didn't get enough combat yet, we're doing more right off the bat. Let me get to the creature. I gotta figure out my way around this book more. There we go. Okay. So we roll the 2d6. We're in the wilderness. So we're adding 1 to see what we're fighting. Yikes! That's a 12 plus. That means we're fighting a monster. That's the max I could have rolled. All right. Well, 115. That means we're fighting or we just had to roll 2 of these. An unusual plant that has a special ability of invisibility. Okay. Great. Cool. Unusual plant that its special ability is invisibility. What does that entail? So it disappears from human sight at will. Okay. Yeah, we're saying this thing is hostile. If it's charging at us, it's hostile. There might be other creatures, you know, lurking in the wild that don't disturb us, but these are the ones that are, you know, disturbing us. So I'm not gonna roll for like behavior or anything to see like it's attacking. I just need to see what kind of stats to go for a unusual plant that's invisible. Can't imagine it's that tough, just the invisible part. Thornvine. So yeah, we'll make it like a level 2. Its stats are probably gonna be Dex and Strength. Con would not be one of its primary stats, so that means its hit dice would be on average 4. So level 2 means it has 8 hit points. Armor is probably like 10, 12. We'll go with 11. No, actually, because of the invisibility, we'll bump it up to 12. That seems fine. Morale, I don't know. I'm going off this thorn vine. What's its morale? 12? That's pretty high. Okay, we'll go with 12. Movement. What is the thorn vine movement? It doesn't move. Just kind of grows, I guess. A shrubbery, yeah, an invisible shrubbery that's about to just wipe out my party. No, this doesn't seem like it's gonna be too deadly. The fact it's just invisible, but it's a plant, so it's like, okay, if it starts grabbing onto their arm, they could just kind of swing in the air where it's grabbing and like figure it out. I hope. We're gonna give it like a vine whip attack. It's gonna be. We'll do 1d4, but we'll let it have 2 of these attacks. And then it's invisible. And then probably no treasure and no description. No, we're good. Okay. So let's enter combat again. So against an unusual invisible plant. Crazy time. So we're gonna do another charisma roll. Its charisma would be 10. Would be 11 is what we got to beat. We have +1, and we got a 14, so we got to go first. Issue is we don't see it. So we hear something rustling in the bushes and some like dragging sound, but we don't see anything. So we kind of just hold our, I guess, attacks until we feel like we're in a bit of danger. And let's see, who's going to get attacked first? Is it Morgana? We'll just give it 50-50 shot. It is. So Morgana, she's standing there kind of looking around. She hears something getting closer. She doesn't see anything looking around. Eventually something grabs. Is it her arm? Probably her leg. Is it her leg? Yeah, it's like one of her legs. Something like grabs around it. She like feels something tugging at her leg. She's like, what the heck? And I guess maybe when that happens, that can trigger her action to try to attack. We'll say she rolls with disadvantage because she's swinging at an invisible thing, but she does have kind of an idea of where it should be. I mean, it's grabbing onto her leg, but we'll roll a disadvantage. And I rolled a natural 1, so that also means my broadsword gets damaged in the process of I try to swing at where I think this thing, whatever it is grabbing Morgana, because she doesn't quite know what's grabbing her or where it is. She swings at it with kind of a lot of strength, misses, hits the ground, and chips her sword. Not a very good move. Morgana says, she's yelling to Maureen that she's like, oh, help, something's got my leg, help. And Maureen also had her action ready, was probably standing right next to Morgana, tries to take an attack at it as well. Let's see, we'll roll also a disadvantage. That just seems fair. And that's definitely not going to hit. So she misses as well, but doesn't at least damage her blade. So we're good on there. It is now the plant's turn. It's going to try to make 2 attacks, one against each character with like a vine whip. So 12, and then it is strength as its primary, so it's adding +2, so it's 14. Doesn't hit, but the other one does hit Maureen. Sorry, Maureen, you're taking a bit of damage. It shouldn't be that much, surely. It's just 1 damage. Maureen gets attacked a little bit, so she's down to 9 health points. This is a dangerous spot to build a stable. I hope they have a good reason to build here, but so they're getting attacked. Can't really pinpoint where this is. Let's see. So it's back to Morgana. What Morgana is going to do is she is going to spend her movement doing a minor action to try to kick some of the dirt on the ground around the area she thinks this thing is to kind of get a better outline of it. So she does that with her minor action, kicks some dirt. And between the rain coming down and like the dirt cloud, she's able to get a better idea of where this is. And we'll say she doesn't have disadvantage anymore for at least this round. And will attack with her broadsword at this outline. Rolls a 17 plus 4 is 21. Definitely hits. So let's do some damage. That's going to be 4 plus 2 is 6 damage to this thing. She's able to slice part of it off. And once she does that, sees kind of this shriveling vine that disappears. But she's like, I think it's still around. And so it's now Marine's turn, and Marine's going to do the same thing, kind of kick some dirt up to try to get a better idea of where it is. And so she won't be attacking with disadvantage, and try to slice what she can see left of it. A 13 plus 2 is enough to hit its armor class. So D8 plus 2 damage is certainly going to kill it. That's 4 damage. She's able to locate the other portion of it, slice at it, and take it out. And with that, they are out of initiative and survived another round of combat. Look at this. What a concept. Characters staying alive. I'm going pretty easy on them. That's 2 back-to-back combats in the first round, or like in the first scene. Invisible plant, a giant rat, and so far our heroes stand strong. Didn't really get any cool treasure from this, but we're getting paid at the end of the day for this job, so that's what really counts. Oh, just trying to clear away the pencil shavings, and I knocked my mic off the table. My goodness. Okay. Well, good times, good times. We wait for a bit. 40 XP. Wait, 40 XP? Oh, like total, right? No. Wait, was that? That's a good point. I should have did the XP before I did. Wasn't it 3, or did I make them level 4? Were they not level 2? Because it's 10 XP per hit dice, right? They had 12. Were they not level 3? Maybe they were level. But regardless, yeah, I do need to track XP. I'll go with 20. I'll go with 40 XP. I mean, I'll take it. If that's what you're saying, I won't doubt you. Right in 2070. Okay. Oh, because it has a special ability. Oh. Got it. Okay. Yeah, then, yeah, well, we're at 2070. We're almost a 10th of the way there. No, a 20th of the way there. We got a ways to go. The leveling up seems like it takes a while in this game. It seems like the way to level up is just to get a ton of treasure, which is kind of fun idea, just that you can get XP from getting gold. Okay, so does anything else attack us tonight? I'm going to go with nearly impossible. Please, Mythic, have mercy. Okay, thank goodness. It's a quiet night for the rest of the night. And we're doing good. So we'll say that is like day 5 of this stable being built, and we have 2 more nights we have to do that. So we could definitely, I mean, since we're staying up at night, we got to go to sleep during the morning till like the afternoon. So we'll still have time around town to do some other stuff, but yeah, I think we'll say, yeah, we got to do that maybe 2 more times until this whole task is complete. So let's see. We fought giant rat. Fought visible plant. 2 more nights to go. All right. Are there any clues about the attacks? What do you mean? Like why they're attacking? I mean, I think it's mostly just forest creatures. They're having their home taken away because people are building stuff in their neighborhood. That's what I assume. I mean, I could try to look, but I mean, invisible plants attacking. I mean, that's just another day, you know? That's just everyday stuff. And giant rats, those are a dime a dozen, right? We could try doing an investigation attempt. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, Morgana and Maureen were hired to protect the place, not look into everything. But I guess, you know, at the end of the day, if Morgana does want to protect the town as a whole, it would be in her best interest to look into any, you know, maybe species of invasive, like invisible plants that are starting to pop up around the town, right? So it's a good point. We will do intelligence. We're not good with. I would almost say investigation is more like wisdom. An argument could be made. We'll do a wisdom check. Let's see how that goes. Try to look around for any clues after this invisible plant, about stuff about it. It's an 11 plus 3 is a 14. That's not a 15. So, I mean, I think I said that like the part of the plant that Morgana chopped off like kind of shriveled away. So I imagine when the plant died, there wasn't much left of it to really investigate. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what's. No, yeah, I don't think we got much from that. But, you know, maybe I imagine they're at least keeping a log and trying to figure out like any patterns and stuff. Like, oh, when it rains, the rats come out or something like that. Maybe that's the thing with the plant too, is like it's dormant until it rains. And it was just, you know, since it was raining that night, that's why they got attacked. Could be. If it comes up again, then they'll start, you know, probably making more of a concern over it. But I think we will just fast forward a little bit to they finished up their shift for that night, went to whatever tavern they're staying at, probably in the valley is where most of the businesses are. I mean, the marketplace has like taverns that you like would eat at, restaurants, but I think like more staying would be like Groves Lane or the valley kind of area. So say they go back to whatever tavern they're staying at. And we'll start when they wake up the next day, essentially, which also should recover any hit points, mainly for Maureen, who was the only one that lost one. She only lost one, so that's not too bad. Okay, so we'll start with scene 2. That I think we got a kind of part of the day to kill. So that was at 10, and if we were doing our shift overnight, let's say starting at like 9. 8-hour shift would go till like 5 a.m. Get back at like 6. Sleep for 8 hours. That's what, wake up at like 2. It's kind of a night shift type thing, but that's fine. So scene 2 will start at like 2 p.m. maybe, when we're rolling out of bed. It's just a rough estimate. Doesn't have to be exact. And what are we going to do during the day? So Morgana definitely wants to protect the town. She's an armorer, so she definitely wants to learn more about any like armor techniques or anything that they do specifically here in Elk Heights. It's a big hunting town, so maybe she more works with making like metallic armor and wants to learn more about how to make like leather armor, which could be kind of fun. So yeah, we'll say that maybe that's what Morgana's gonna do. Who knows what Maureen is gonna do? We're gonna kind of just let her do her own thing, and you know, just don't even ask about it. We'll just let her be her own person. I don't know what Maureen's gonna be doing. And we can maybe figure that out. But so we're gonna have Morgana find a leather armorer to train under. So maybe she hasn't found anybody yet, so today she's going to spend some time trying to just find somebody that would take her kind of on as like a mentor, or yeah, to be her mentor. Yeah. Okay, so that's what Morgana's gonna do for, you know, a good chunk, a couple of hours, until I guess that'd be what, like 9 o'clock is when they would need it. So I got like what, 7 hours? Yeah, that's chill. That's chill. Yeah. Okay. So this time I will roll. Let's see what the chaos factor was. So after last scene, it was pretty chaotic. We fought a rat and an invisible plant, but we lost like 1 hit point. It was pretty fine. So were the characters in control is the question for Mythic, which I would say yes. So that means the chaos factor goes down to 4. And we will roll a scene alteration thing. And we do get an odd that it's altered. So it's the next most expected way. Well, I was expecting to just go find somebody. I mean, the next most expected way is, okay, that I just don't find anybody, but that's not very exciting. But the thing that comes to mind is maybe I find somebody that will train me, but they're not going to just do it for free. And they want maybe something done for them in return first before they will take me on as a student. Maybe that could be it. So we'll say that, yeah, after looking for a bit, we find someone that would take us on, but like I said, there's gonna be some sort of task we gotta complete or job to do or some requirement that they have that they want us to do before they'll train us. So we've jot that down. Found trainer, but will require job done before training. Fair enough. I mean, it's worth looking for free, but didn't have high hopes for that. So let me get a name for this character, this trainer person, this armor smith. 153 is Caldus. Caldus. Add that to our character list. Okay. So what kind of tasks do they have for me? Let's use the fancy little quest generator. Give that a whirl. Probably nothing too crazy, hopefully. Maybe it's going to be some epic quest, but I think it would just be more like a more, not an errand, but a little bit more than that. Okay, it's location-based quest. So the action is 41 to investigate. That's kind of fun. Investigate a settlement slums location. So we need to investigate 34. Investigate an empty building. That's very exciting. Okay. This is getting crazy. Is there anything else for quests? Investigate an empty building. What else was I thinking? There was another tape I wanted to roll on, but maybe that's all I need. Okay. That's in like the slums area. So I've also envisioned with Elk Heights here. The valley is where a lot of the businesses are. It's in a bit of a valley. Who would have guessed? I would say that's also where a lot of the older parts of the town are. Maybe it started as like the hunting grounds over there, and then the valley over here, and like the fields there. But then the valley kind of grew to like the marketplace and Groves Lane up there. Yeah, something like that. So the slums, if there was this, the slums area to Elk Heights, it would probably be somewhere in the valley, maybe like further away from the river, something like that. So we need to go investigate some empty building. Okay. The question that comes to mind is why? Would they I would ask why. Morgana would ask why. Would they tell me why? I would say likely. 51. So they do tell us why. What's the reasoning behind this? What's so special about this building? maybe roll up some a verb and noun pair to see if that gets me anything. 652. So why am I going to this building? Because what's so special about this building is because return triple fours, return leadership, return leadership, return leadership, return leadership. Okay, and this is, remember, this is some random armor smith Caldas that's asking me to go investigate a building because the reason being return leadership. The first thing that comes to mind is there is this cult in the town that is the seventh layer is what they call themselves. It's a fringe cult group that's been causing a lot of issues for the townspeople as well as the Stalentishes, which is the wealthy family that kind of runs the town. I'm curious if this is related to that. So let me ask Mythic, is this task that Caldas is sending me on, is it related to the seventh layer? I think likely. Okay. 59, yes. It is related. Well, no, I'm at Chaos Factor 4, so likely that's actually no. It doesn't involve the Stalentish or the seventh layer. Okay. Return leadership. What could that mean? Want me to investigate a building in the slums because of return leadership? I might roll another second word. Leadership isn't bad, but something might be better. 221. Return anger. Okay. Let me roll one more. I just want some more words to work with. 633. Return protection. Okay, I like that one. So whatever this building involves, it doesn't involve anything to do with the seventh layer cult. Okay, return protection I kind of like pretty decently. But why? So maybe it's in the slums, so it's in a not so nice part of town, and they want to... This is an armor, so maybe they want to set up some sort of like guard post, or I don't know. I don't know. Let me think on this for a second and also change the music. I'm going back to the beginning again. This album's good, but it's a bit short. There's more songs on it, but these are the good ones. Okay, well, return protection. So I think, yeah, maybe they just want to set up some... I mean, maybe it's an old building that... this armor used to have as a shop, and then it got overrun, or maybe just wasn't doing good in sales, but they want to reset it up because they'd like to help provide people cheap armor to keep them safe. Return protection, that kind of works, right? Sort of, if you squint your eyes, it kind of almost works. So we'll go with that because I can't think of too much else why an armor would want us to investigate some building in the slums for returning protection. So maybe they want to make sure it's cleared out and maybe just see what the status of the building is. So yeah, Caldas wants us to kind of, yeah, check out and clear out an empty building in the slums. To be a new armor shop. Good enough, whatever. Okay, so that's the quest. He says if you do that, I'll train you. And I'm like, okay. So, investigate empty building, which I don't think we're going to find too much in an empty building, but who knows? With Mythic, anything can happen. Okay. Is Maureen with me? Or is she doing her own thing? Is Maureen with me? I think it's unlikely. No, Maureen's off doing other stuff. So if I want to go investigate this now, I would need to go on my own. I might wait. I might wait till tomorrow when I have Marine with me. It's probably better to travel in numbers, right? So we got the rest of the day to kill. It's like 12. Yeah, it's like 2:30. So what we'll do is do a little bit of downtime stuff. No, don't open random links, please. That's terrifying. No, we'll go to downtime. Where's downtime? I'm way far past it. And we'll get up to some fun. Some fun stuff. Probably fighting, to be honest. Where is downtime? It's before the spells? Yeah. Before the followers? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So my character has really good strength. So what are they going to be doing with their downtime? Well, they got a couple options. Got lots of stuff you can do. What she would be good at is crafting, like smithing items, which she would be good at, but doesn't really have the materials or the funds or the time. Could gamble, but you need decent wisdom or charisma, which she doesn't really have either. Wisdom's actually really good. So honestly, maybe gambling could be kind of fun. Let's maybe gamble a little bit. I don't think it will take too long, right? Games of chance are a way to make fortune, but perhaps a better way to lose one. There are many forms of gambling. Often, success is determined by how well one can mask their own emotions, bluff, or read a bluff. When playing by the rules, gambling requires wisdom or charisma check. If you're cheating, then instead make a dexterity check. Characters may bet between 100 and 1,000 gold once per day in a gambling session. Oh, it has to be between 100 and 1,000? I don't have that much money. Okay, so I guess I'm not gambling. I'm too broke to gamble, but I'm not too broke to fight in an arena. Right? So, or there's often organized arena fights in a town. Characters go in combat, a regular reputation. Unfortunately, if they win enough. It's also common for wagers to be placed on the outcomes, generally between 100 and 1,000 gold. Character or group of characters may only engage in a single fight per day. So I assume, like, the non-lethal payout, that's what you get, after the fight, regardless. But then if you win, you can also, you can wager 100 to 1,000 and wager it like that. I mean, if I do this, I can make 25 gold if I fight a brawler. So you know what? Morgana's going to head to the arena and fight a brawler. So scene 3 will be at 2:30. Okay, were the characters in control of last scenes? That was mainly just finding the armorer, talking with the armorer, negotiating stuff. I would say we're mostly in control. So, but nothing too much happens. So I'm going to keep the chaos factor the same at 4. Okay, and let's see if the scene is altered at all. 8, it is not. It's not below the chaos factor, so we're chilling there. Let's see how this goes. So we're going to be fighting a... That's not what I want. That's my little cheat sheet note. This is what I want. A brawler. Which I should be able to find a suitable opponent. So 2 hit dice. I mean, I imagine... Is there a stat block for these guys? Let's see if they have a pre-made stat block for brawlers. If not, I'll make one, but these are spells. Where are the creatures? No, don't open random stuff. There's a bandit, but well, brawler is 2 hit dice. That means it's level 2. Strength and con are probably their 2 primary stats, so we'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're gonna have average of 5, so we'll say with 2, that's 10 HP. Armor, I don't know if it specifies. Where's the downtime again? All it says is 2 hit dice. That's the only info it gives me, so I'll have to fill in the rest. That's what I mean by I kind of wish there was a little bit more for stat blocks. I think I saw earlier what Dallas mentioned. There was something about an expansion. I think I missed that message, but like I read it in my head or like read part of it, but I didn't. Oh, let me find that comment. Oh, there are other sources for monsters that are compatible. I'll post in the Discord later. Oh, okay. Yeah, hopefully you do. Because, yeah, I mean, like I said, I kind of wish there was, like, a bestiary. It's the one thing that kind of sucks. I mean, and creating stuff isn't too bad, but I just wish there was some more examples, maybe, or something. I have to just go off the examples here. So, back in the wrong section. Like, I'll use the bandit as an outline. So, we'll say attacks are going to be just 1 times a weapon. I don't know. We'll say they also have like a broadsword. Their armor is probably 13. That seems fair. Morale, we'll just go with the bandit. We'll go with a little bit higher than the bandit. We'll go with 10. Movement, 30. Special ability, probably none. Broadsword deals, was that like D? That's something, I guess, the shop sheet. A broadsword, I think, was a medium melee. That's D8. D8 damage. D8 damage. Okay. So let's get into combat. So I find an arena that people fight in that I heard about, and I find a challenger, get my gear up, get to the center of the arena, and Morgana see if she can face off. This is a non-lethal fight, so there's no risk of death. And let's see how this goes. So I will roll my charisma, right? Is the what you check for initiative? Let me double check that's correct. That feels correct, but I want to double check. Yeah, charisma check versus theirs plus 10. So they're level 1. That'd be like a 11 I gotta beat. And I got a 12, so I'm going first. Are we starting? Let me ask Mythic, like, am I within range to get there with my movement? I would say likely. Yes. So I'll use my movement to run up to this brawler and slash at them with my broadsword. That is a 16 plus 4 is a not natural 20. That definitely hits, so I deal D8 plus 2 damage, which is 7 damage on the first swing. Really, I think this brawler was not ready for what Morgana's bringing to the table, and just she runs up, swings at him, hits him in one of his weak points in his armor, and deals a hefty blow to him. The guy's still definitely alive though, so he brings up his broadsword to swing at Morgana. That's definitely going to hit. So he's swinging right back and dealing 4 damage. So Morgana is going to be down to 5 hit points. Actually taking some damage for the first time. It's now back to Morgana's turn. She's going to swing again. Broadsword plus 4, 16 definitely hits. D8, this guy is definitely dead. 4 damage, knocks him out. Doesn't kill him, knocks him out. The crowd goes wild as within 2 slashes, this brawler falls to the ground. And everybody's cheering for the newbie that just won herself 25 gold. 55 gold. I didn't have anything to wager, but you know what? That's not bad. And that's 25 XP? No, I don't think that's how. I think that's just for treasure. I don't think it's just any gold I get. I don't really know for sure, but we'll just play it like that for now. Okay, so we'll say we did that, and that takes up the rest of the evening after like unwinding from the fight. So we'll start scene 4 back at the construction site for the stable with Maureen protecting it again. So I guess I never rolled up weather for the new day. I should do that. We'll say it's still raining for now, and then we'll just redo that for the next day. It was confusing because I guess we're working overnight, so I should roll that like, whatever. Okay, so watch for creatures. Were the characters in control of the last scene? It was just a fight scene, so I'm gonna keep it at 4. Let's roll for any scene alterations. There's not any. So then, as we wait along, we'll ask Mythic, are there any creatures that disturb us for the first part of the night? We'll do maybe 3 checks. So first check, anything. We're going to go 50-50. That is an extreme yes. Oh boy. Is the extreme yes? That means something weird's going on. Is it the return of one of the creatures we fought last night? I'm going to put that as a likely chance. That's not it. It's not the return of the rats or the return of the invisible plants. That would be kind of fun, but no. Mythic says no. So why isn't an extreme yes then? I don't know, but what I might just do is roll for a creature and then just add an extra +1 to the roll that I do for like generating the creature type. That seems like maybe an okay thing to do for that, just to make it a little bit more intense. So normally I'd add +1 to this roll. I'm going to add +2 instead. So that's a 6. +2 is 8. So this is a beast that is prowling around, I guess. 264 is an airborne creature. That is a giant wasp. It doesn't say giant, but I'm saying it's giant. Because if not, then that's not a very exciting creature. Just to fight a normal-sized wasp, like, what's the threat there, right? I think a giant wasp is a little bit more interesting. Thankfully, this is a beast, not a monster, so we don't have any crazy special abilities like invisibility to worry about. Yeah. Okay, so let me write this down. Giant wasp. Let's see what level we want to make this. Probably just like 2 or 3. Let's see, a goblin is level 1. What's like a fly-on is 5. I don't know how close that is. I just want like a pixie is level 1. Yeah, I'll make them like level 3. That seems fairly fine. And we're definitely gonna say Constitution isn't one of their main stats, so they'll have 12 HP. Which is hefty, but there's 2 of us, and yeah, it'll be fine. Go with 30 movement speed. Morale is compared to like this fly-on creature. So we'll make their morale 10. That seems like a good number. Armor. They're gonna be tough to hit, so we're gonna make it 14. Their stats are gonna be for sure Dex and I don't know. Intelligence. That could be kind of fun. Special abilities, no. So it's mainly just gonna have a stinger attack. That's gonna be a D8. Be pretty deadly. You don't want to get hit by that. Okay, so we're waiting around. We'll say the rain is lightening up at night, so it's a little bit more of a clear night tonight. And we're waiting around a little bit more on guard because last night was a bit eventful, and we hear a little bit of a buzzing noise off to the side, and then coming out, just bursting through the trees, we see this massive wasp that's like bigger than our heads, just zooming at us, stinger pointed right at Morgana, and we're going into combat. So level 3 charisma isn't their top stat, so it would be +1. So 11 is what I need to beat with my charisma roll. I rolled a 17, so we get to go first. So Morgana is probably not close enough, so she's going to hold her action. So is Maureen. They're both going to hold their action till this thing comes, readying their weapons and whatnot. This thing flies. It was probably far away, like far as in like the actual like far distance, like 60 feet. But it can move 60 feet because it's like, I didn't write that down, but its movement should be like 60. I think that just makes more sense. So it is able to move up to us to try to attack. But when it gets within our range, we both get to make an attack before it makes an attack. So right when it gets within our range, we'll say it was trying to attack Morgana. Morgana gets to attack first with her broadsword. +4 is going to be a 13 total, which does not hit. She swings and misses. Maureen is also going to do the same, swings and misses. So this wasp was kind of dodging and weaving. Comes to Morgana, tries to sting her with its stinger. And a 16 plus whatever is going to hit. So this is about to do some bad damage to Morgana. It could actually kill her. 3 damage is not enough though. So we're chilling for now. I forgot how low Morgana is. She probably should have healed up before this, but that's okay. 2 health, it's more than enough. Back to Morgana's turn. She's going to swing her broadsword. 12 plus 4 is 16. That is enough to hit. So D8 plus 2, max damage, 10 damage. After missing first and getting absolutely stung by this thing, she, in a rage, kind of locks in on its flying patterns, slices at it, misses its wings, so it's still flying around, but gets it in the body, and it's looking real rough. It's flying a lot more slowly back and forth. Its patterns not as clean as it were before, and now it is to Maureen's turn. She's swinging her broadsword at this thing, and a 9 plus whatever her bonus is not enough, so it's back to the giant wasp's turn. It's down to 2, so it's going to do a morale check. I haven't been doing those. Morale check should be happening, I think, after its turn, actually, because that just happened, right? So let me ask, is it going to attack Morgana? Yes. Morgana might die here. Or at least go down. Not unconscious. Yeah, it's a 15. That will hit. There, I mean, there's a chance. There's a 1 in 8 chance she doesn't die here. No, that's exactly enough. I guess she could splinter like her shield, but that's just for a critical hit. I think she gets to do that. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but yeah, Morgana's down. Already, characters going down. No, I guess not already. This is like the, what, 3rd combat? Like, that's not bad. Okay, come on. Let me get to the section I want. Where is... That's probably in the combat section, right? I think I just need to do a constitution check. A constitution check. So my constitution is +1, so I need to beat a 15. I rolled exactly 15. Morgana lives. It's knocked out for 1 turn. They wake up with 1 HP. Morgana lives. Let's go. Okay. So the bee went, or the wasp went, or whatever. So then it makes a morale check because it got just sliced by Morgana. Absolutely sliced. Where's the... Do I not have that on my quick references here? The morale check. Okay, where is this at? Where is this morale check at? Or I just rolled 2d6, and then if it's more, right? If it's more than the number, if it's higher than the score, it flees. Dang, this thing doesn't flee easily. So yeah, 4 means it's still fighting. So it's back to us. It's Maureen's turn. She doesn't have anything to really get up Morgana, but Morgana will get up at next turn. So Maureen's turn, she tries to slice at it with a broadsword. Plus, yeah, that hits because she has +2, so that hits. D8, she should be able to kill it. Yeah, 7 damage. Yeah, she slices the wasp, seeing it take down her friend. The wasp falls to the ground. And Morgana gets back up after a second, kind of coming back to consciousness. And yeah, she's not doing too good. We don't have anything. I guess also, this is like, we should have consumed a ration yesterday. That's my main thing I was just thinking. We didn't do that. We should do that before sleeping is the main thing. Okay. So Morgana should really sit out the rest of the night and leave Maureen by herself, even though it's not a great idea, but yeah, if not, Morgana's gonna die. So Morgana will just sit maybe with the construction workers, and then if Maureen really needs help, to call for her. Morgana's just gonna take it easy the rest of the night. So does anything else come? I'm gonna say very unlikely. We're good there. So I think we're good for the rest of the night. We're good. And we consume another ration and go to sleep. Which how does, I forget, resting hit points. What's the deal? This is not the area I want. Where is resting and hit points? No. It's the magic section. I just want to know how many hit points. It's probably just like level plus charisma or whatever. Where is it? I must have passed it. I'm an idiot. Where is it? There's hit points. I feel like I'm right in the right section. Wait, is this it? Oh, here it is. Resting and healing. Yeah, it's right here. I'm just an idiot. Night's rest. PCs heal 1 hit dice plus their constitution check bonus. Okay. So she heals a D8 plus constitution check bonus, which is +1. That's 8. Oh my god. She gets the best night's rest of her life, and she's back to 9 health. Love to see that. And Maureen's chilling. Then we have to do that one more night. One more night. That's it. So we wake up. Scene 5. I also probably tell Maureen that I need her help today exploring this old building. So we're going to meet up and do that today. So we wake up once again. We'll just say it's like 2 o'clock. And we'll go with we're now on spring, like, this is spring 29. Because we started on spring 27, but that was like the evening. And spring 28 was yesterday, and then today's spring 29. So I kind of skipped around days a little bit, but we're, keeping it kind of straight. Where is the weather table? Hold on. It's right here. No. Dungeons. Wilderness. Boom. 2d6. Stays still the wet season. So 5 is fog. We got a little bit of foggy weather. That'll be fun to go explore abandoned buildings with. Add some good atmosphere. You're not stupid. You're just blind. That's what happens when you can't see things. Listen, I mean, it's not that I couldn't see it. I was just scanning around so fast. It's right in front of my eyes, but I just wasn't seeing it. But yeah, I guess so. Okay, so we're heading to the empty building. Let's see, last scene was a bit chaotic for sure, so the chaos factor is going to go up to 5. We'll roll a scene alteration. It's a 2, which is even. That's a random event. I'll grab the mythic stuff, because I guess that's the one other thing I do kind of want / need. It's the random event table, right? That tells me what's what. I don't know if I have that. Or wait, was I thinking scene adjustment? Wait, no, what's... What am I thinking of? When do I roll in the characters in list the threads list. Is that not when certain stuff happens? Well, whatever. I rolled a 2. That's even. That's a random event. So I might just roll a verb and noun thing just to get a random event that happens when we're heading to the empty building to go explore it. 631 is refuse. 641. Okay. 641 refuse status. Okay, I don't wait. Reroll the first one. 2, 3, 4. Bestow status. Okay, that's a little bit more. That's something. I'm gonna reroll the second word. I you know, as you see, sometimes words just don't click. I could probably come up with something for bestow status, but I also just like getting more suggestions. 525, restore poverty. What does that? I mean, that we're going through like a slum, so restore poverty. What exactly could that entail? I kind of want to figure this one out. So we're walking to an empty building. It's in the afternoon. It's foggy out. We're going to this kind of through the valley and through the not so nice part of the valley. Restore poverty. What could that? I mean, maybe it's like, I was kind of thinking of like, it's a person that's trying to restore poverty, but it also could be something that's happening that's bad for the city that's slowly restoring poverty. Like, you know, like a building being on fire that people live in would kind of restore poverty. I don't know if that's quite right. That's a tough set of words. Restore poverty. Anybody in chat have any suggestions on how those could come into play for a random event that we encounter on the way to an empty building as we're walking through town? Restore poverty. It's a thinker. Yeah, maybe it's just something. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, like I said, maybe it's just like there's some big like residential, kind of like an apartment building that's like on fire right now that people are dealing with. That's like a big thing that's happening as we walk by, and I mean, maybe it doesn't fit restore poverty perfectly, but I feel like that would be more like, you know, a kind of increased poverty, people losing their house. This is no good for anybody. So yeah, we'll say, I don't know, something like that we probably don't get involved with, that doesn't really affect us too much, but is something going on, I guess. I don't know. I just want to get to this empty building, so we're just gonna say that's what's going on, and that's that. Thanks, Mythic, we'll blame Mythic for lighting that building on fire, because that building would have been fine if it weren't for Mythic. So good job. But okay, we get to the empty building in the slums. This building is going to be turned into a new armor shop. So we need to just scout it out and see what's going on with it. Shouldn't take too long. Still pretty early in the day. We'll say it's, you know, probably 12:30 or 2:30 when we get there. So let's do, I don't know. So we probably have our swords ready in case there's anybody inside. From the outside, building is still standing. Doesn't look like it's in good condition for sure. And we slowly head inside. Do we call out that we're there? No, we'll probably stay silent for now and just kind of slowly creep through the building, trying to just go room by room and make sure there's no one in it. Kind of get just an idea of what the status of the building is. So we'll say it's like a 2-story building. So we go into the first floor. The door is just kind of boarded up, so we're able to kind of just go through it. It wasn't always too much hassle. And as we're slowly looking around inside. So as we're scouting the first floor, do we encounter anybody? I would say likely 50-50. We'll go with 50-50. Do we encounter anybody? Extreme no. It is eerily silent as we go in. And it's also a little spooky. You know, we're in the slums, outer part of the valley, so it's a bit of the older town, a bit more rundown. There's not a lot of people around. It's foggy out, so it's a very eerie atmosphere as we enter this creaky old building that's run down. There's rubble everywhere. The wood creaks with every step that we are taking around the building. And we continue on. So yeah, then we go to the second floor, I guess. And is anything up there? Do we see anybody? I'm gonna go with likely. Give it a little bit more odds. 69 is no. Yeah, that's no. Nice. Okay. So we go up to the second floor. Don't see anybody there. There might still be someone in the building hiding really well, but we don't see anybody in our little brief walkthrough. And yeah, we're just kind of going room to room, surveying the damage, seeing what's what, seeing everything still standing. Is there anything to loot around? Anything of value that we could take and just, you know, pocket for ourselves? Yeah, let's see. Is there anything of value that we can loot? I would say likely. Mythic says yes. There's some treasure. Let's roll on the treasure table then. I haven't done that before. So treasure roll. The average party level is 2, so it's a -1 to the treasure roll. Let's see what we find. 6 -1 is 5. We find in one of the rooms a gem or some gems. Let's see, 4. We find what looks to be an amber gem, which I will grab. Okay, which is worth like 100 gold. So that's pretty good. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to sell it for 100 gold. I don't really know how selling stuff in this game works. It's one of those things that doesn't, you know, they don't really touch upon. I'll probably play it how I do most RPGs. It's like you just sell for 50% of the buy value. Maybe you can haggle a little bit, but I don't know, 50% seems like a good just round number, and that is semi-realistic, so like whatever. Okay, we found a gem. Besides that, we don't see anybody else. So we go back downstairs, do one last scan. Do we see anybody? I'm gonna say it's very unlikely, but let's ask. No, it's still, that's an extreme no. So it's still eerily silent. We don't hear anybody inside. We don't hear anybody outside. This part of town is just super dead, and with the fog overhead, like even though it's daytime, it's a spooky place. But besides a free gem, there's nothing else to do. So we're out of there. That's easy enough. We probably just make our way back to the armor smith. We'll say it's scene 3 or well, next scene, but we'll say it's like 3 o'clock is what I was trying to say. Scene 6, roll up 3 o'clock at their spot. Yeah. Armor trainer. I guess they have a name. Their name is Caldus. Chaos factor definitely goes down. That was pretty uneventful empty building, which it was an empty building, but hey, I mean, we got a little bit of loot out of it, so I'm not going to complain. We head back to the trainer. I tell him I only roll for scene stuff first. No, we're good there. Yeah, head to the trainer. Morgana tells him all about, you know, building's clear. It's not in great condition. Didn't see anybody inside. Scanned both floors. Yada yada yada. And Caldus seems pleased, and yeah, he's like, I'll gladly train you. Come back tomorrow, and we can start doing some training. So I will mark this off my threads lists. Thread complete. And continue onwards and upwards. So we have still probably like another 6 hours till we need to get out and about. So maybe we do a little bit of exploring the hexes. I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream here somewhat soon. It's probably not gonna be a super long stream today, so I want to at least do a little bit of hex travel. And then we're probably just gonna explore it. I just want to go like a little loop, like maybe go here, here, and then back here, just to go out and back a little bit. You can also establish where May Landing is. I don't want to call it May Spring. Can we get like a D10 plus? I want it to be kind of close, so we'll just actually pick. I was gonna randomly roll a location. We'll say it's more central, like here. I want it to be like within 1 or 2 hexes, because we'll say it's actually here. Kind of basically in the center of the map. I'll put a 4 here, and that's where May Landing is. Okay, so that's where Morgana and Maureen are from. Not too far away. I mean, each hex is 6 miles. So that's like 12-ish miles away. And yeah, so we'll say they kind of came from the top part, so they don't know like what's down in these 2 hexes. So that's what we're gonna go explore right now. Let's do some hex exploring. We go to the terrain section, and we'll do this a little bit. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna get to dungeon exploration today, but at least we got to combat. We did some downtime. We're gonna do some hex exploring, so we're gonna get through most of the stuff that I wanted to. So the terrain type is based off the current terrain. And we double check, like, we should be able to move fine, I think. Or have enough time to, like, move around. I guess you can't do more than 8 hours, and the terrain movement is always just based on, what's it called? Just with how you're going across the terrain, and also the terrain type. Is I guess what I'm trying to say. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. So, by foot, yeah, we should be able to at least go out and back. Each type. So like crossing like a woods would take 4 hours. Yeah, I don't know if we actually have 8 hours. I guess we have like 8 hours. So as long as it's not like a crazy terrain we go into, let's just go out and back once. Yeah, sure. So let's go into this hex here. And let me, roll up to see what that is. You go back a little bit further. I shouldn't have gone away from that table, but I want to look at the other table. Nope. That's close. That's dungeon stuff, which there's a good amount for dungeon. The terrain type. So we're going from a forest, 2d6. 8 is another forest. Okay, so we go down here. And who would have guessed there's more trees. A great drawn forest. I have the good old classic colored pencils nearby just to quickly kind of color code this. My art skills are not all there, but that's fine. So we explore down there and we find a forest, and when you explore a wilderness, you automatically do a discovery roll for the new hex. So we find some wilderness discovery, which is a 3d6 roll to see what exactly we find. 6, 3, 5. So a structure that is a route, and 5. So we find an old canal that goes through, which is pretty neat. So we explore south. Old canal in a forest. Neat. That's something. That's better than finding like a den of bears. I'm all for that. Okay, so that took like 4 hours to travel. We go 4 hours back. We just kind of do a little out and back trip, but then that takes us to It's going to be a bit later that we show up to the site, but hey, we are traveling, so let's do this last night protecting the campsite. We'll say if 4 hours there, 4 hours back, that's 8 hours. Yeah, it's like 11 o'clock. We're showing up late. We're getting fired on our last night here, but that's okay. Protect stables. We'll say like the stables, what's my chaos factor? We'll just keep it at 4. Nothing really, we didn't do too much. Yeah, it's not like they're going to be completely done after tonight, but maybe they'll have at least the fence around the outside for better protection and maybe lighting, and maybe we're just temporary guards. Maybe they're getting other ones that, you know, we're kind of doing in shifts. So we'll say like the stable's not going to be fully done after today, but our job will be done. So after the first bit of the night, do we encounter anything? I'm going to give it a 50-50 chance. 42 is a no. So first part of the night is chill. Second part of the night, do we encounter anything? We'll go 50-50 chance again. This time we do. Okay, let's get one more, I guess, combat encounter in. Well, we'll give it a chance that it might not be a hostile creature too. That's, you know, always possible in the forest that we just see like a bunny hopping by or something like that. Depending on what we roll here, which is a 6, so it's actually a humanoid. Okay, so this will be a time to actually roll a reaction to see if they're friendly, and yeah, they will talk. I guess it's not necessarily a human, it's humanoid. So we roll a 3d6 to see what exactly it is. It's a human-sized half-human. No, humans. That's what. We'll go with the other. It's a human-sized orc. And they're intelligent, so they're not hostile. They will talk. So, okay, orcs are not very common in this area, I would assume. So we're keeping guard, and then all of a sudden, we don't even hear him sneak up on us, but just this orc appears out of the forest, and we, of course, immediately ready our weapons. This orc's like, whoa, I don't want trouble. Right? This orc is peaceful, correct? Asking Mythic, very likely. Yeah, the orc is peaceful. And yeah, so I like the idea that orcs are generally not very well liked in fantasy games. They usually tend to be pretty violent. So I like the idea that this one is a peaceful orc, and that maybe Elk Heights hasn't had the greatest reputation with orcs, and this orc is trying to make a good name for other orcs here in Elk Heights. So has come to kind of be like a peace negotiator type person. So has just stumbled upon the stables. So I tell him, you know, that I'm not from here, so I can't help you much, but I kind of point them in the direction of the town, and that's kind of that. I wish them the best. But then let's do one more roll. Is there any other encounters tonight? I'm gonna go unlikely this time. And no, there's no more encounters on the last night, so all is well. We get paid for the job. Let's say you do normally. You do what I've seen. Let me see how the wealth works. I don't want to do anything too crazy. I don't want to like give myself too much money, but this is a decent sized job. We'll do 1 plus D4 gold, but then that number is always times 2d6. No, wait, let me make sure. Yeah, we'll do whatever this number is times 2. No, yeah, no, we'll just do that as is. So like 1 plus a d4, that's 5, and we take that number times 2d6. I know this is confusing, but how they do it in the book is like, for example, when you find treasure, it's 10 gold, but then you take that 10 and times it by 2d6. So I was thinking, okay, half that would be 5, so 1 plus a d4 can maybe get me up to that, which I did get max. So 5 times 2d6, I rolled 5, so I only got 25 gold after all that. You kidding me? That's nothing. Only up to 80 gold. That's pocket change, but I guess it wasn't that much work, so. Okay. And yeah, no, I think that's where I'm going to kind of wrap up here tonight. Wrap up a little bit earlier than normal, but hey, I feel like we got a lot done. Got pretty much everything I wanted to do. I mean, I would have liked to explore the hex travel stuff a little bit more, and I wanted to do a dungeon, but I at least got to do some downtime stuff, and we got a good amount of combat in, and hopefully that gives you all a feel for what Forge is like and about. So yeah, before I quickly hop off here, I'll give my final thoughts real fast on Forge. It's pretty interesting of a game. There's a lot I like about it. There's quite a lot I don't like about it, if I'm being, completely honest. I like how simple it is in some aspects. I mean, I like how quick it is to create characters and creature creations, fairly straightforward. I really like that it has rules for hex travel. I like hex crawling the more I've been playing games. I like that it has rules for solo and how it has stuff for buying and building buildings and how it has stuff for downtime activities. Like, I really do appreciate that it has, foraging rules, all this stuff I really like in games, and I think it's quite nice. The simplicity in this game is really nice, but I think also at times, like, it's too simple for my liking, unfortunately. I mean, combat is not necessarily like one of my favorite things. I definitely I've been leaning more towards, like, I like just doing non-combat style, like, game stuff, gameplay and whatnot. And the combat in this seemed fine. Maybe because I'm not like a magic user, so all I have is a sword, but it felt pretty basic. Like, I have one action. I can move, swing my sword, add my strength bonus. If I hit, I do the damage, and there's not much else, which is fine if that's what you want, but I don't know. It kind of sucks not having, like, any abilities at all. No cool feats, no cool talents or anything. It's just kind of your character is what it is, which, that's fine if that's what you want, but I don't know if that's what I want, unfortunately. Like, like I said, there's a lot I really like about this game, but there's kind of a lot I don't. Like, I'm pretty mixed feelings on it, all in all. Yeah, I don't know, because I like the idea of the followers, character creation is super simple. Like I said, I like how simple it is in some aspects, but in some aspects, the simplicity really kind of hurts it for me, in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I definitely had a good time playing today, and like my solo sessions before with Marbash, like, I had a blast. I definitely think, you don't need to use Mythic, but I like it. I've really grown to like Mythic. I've gotten used to using it, so yeah, I'm going to use it. This has a lot of great tables in it, though. Like, besides, needing like the name tables from Table Fables, which you don't need, but I like using. It has a lot of great tables in it for generating settlements and dungeons and wilderness stuff. Like, I really didn't feel like I had to grab too much else. It has weather oracles. Like, it's kind of got it all, which I was pretty impressed with. Once again, for a pretty simple and pay what you want style game, it's got a lot of stuff in it. I really like the art style, kind of this more hand-drawn style, like, of the charts and the character sheets and the colors it's got going on. Like, I really like the art style of the game. Kind of stuck out to me as being one thing that kind of drew me towards it. So yeah, that's kind of where I land. I definitely enjoyed it, but I got, I'm pretty mixed on it, because there's a lot I like about it. There's a lot I don't. But I think it's, a solid game if you're into these more older style games and like more simple classless characters. Like, this might not be a bad game for you. Yeah, I don't know if it's one for me, though. It has, like I said, a lot I really like in it, though. I appreciate the, foraging and hex crawl and the downtime rules and the all the settlements generating tables and the quest tables I thought were cool, and the name tables worked well. The verb noun tables worked really well. Like there's a lot that I like in this game, don't get me wrong, but there's also a fair amount I don't like, and I feel like that really kind of weighs it out, unfortunately. So I don't know, maybe that's just, you know, just not a game for me, but I definitely recommend giving it a look if it's something that looks interesting to you, because I at least think it's worth a shot if it's, you know, your style of game. But I just think the more I play RPGs, the more I find what I like and what I don't like, and I think this has more of stuff that I just don't care for, unfortunately. Yeah, like one thing is like I kind of like having character skills. I kind of do like that. Like it's like if you're gonna have, you know, wisdom and charisma, like all of like the kind of more classic like RPG stats, like I kind of wish like I had stuff for like, oh, if I want to do an investigation roll or perception, like I could just kind of guess which stuff I use. But that, yeah, I don't know, the static 15 to roll against, I also don't know how I feel. I like in some cases that it's so simple, but then if you're not doing like an opposed test, like I don't know, I'm sure the math checks out that that's a decent number to roll against, but yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty mixed on this game overall. Like I said, I mean, I definitely think it's worth checking out if this seems like your style game. It's, from what I understand, pay what you want so you can get it for free and just see. But yeah, I'm definitely glad I checked it out. Definitely appreciate the suggestion from Dallas. You suggested this a while ago, so it took me a while to get to it and play it, even though it's a fairly simple game to play. But yeah, that's kind of where I land with all this. Have you ever looked up Scarlet Heroes? I have. I own Scarlet Heroes. And yeah, I would like to try to play it someday. It's on my long list of RPGs to play at some point. I do feel like that is more leaning, from what I've seen, and you can feel free to correct me if I'm completely off base here. It does feel like Scarlet Heroes leans a bit more close to like a game like this. And I don't know if I love that. I don't know if it's just the classness, where does it, the way you don't have classes, or I mean, I don't mind not having classes, but I think when you don't have classes, then you don't have like cool, unique abilities and talents, which I think I quite enjoy having. Even like, I feel like with something like D&D, it almost gets too much where you have like, oh, all these crazy actions, abilities, and stuff you got to keep track of. It's like with D&D, I almost felt like it was too much, but this just feels like there's not a lot here, which is fine if that's what you want, but I guess I don't think that's what I want. So yeah, that's where I'll land with this, but very cool game overall, for sure. I guess I didn't really show this off, so like I'll show off some of the extra sheets they have. So this is for if you want to do companions, which are like the expanded followers. This is the sheet for the settlement, which I already did. The dungeon sheet is pretty similar. It has a little map. You can write like the builder, the size, the themes, the area, little details for the area, unique area, stuff like that. So you can kind of map it out. So I think that's the only other sheet that I didn't really show off this game. But yeah, who knows if I'll return to this? I wouldn't hold your breath in this case. But it might be one I return to someday. For sure. But who knows where Morgana and Maureen will be next time we pick up. If we return to this adventure, I do a bit of a time jump and see what they've been up to. They're both alive though, so it's a good spot to stop for sure. Scarlet Heroes has traits that modify your character does, kind of like generic skills. It's hard to explain, but you should look at it. Okay. Scarlet has one of the best solar systems really early on. I really like how they took the D20 and made it solo system. Okay. Yeah, no, I have heard that it has a good solo system. The one thing I'm trying to think right now, I know this isn't completely related, but playing this reminded me a good amount of Dragonbane. I mean, they're both like lightweight, classless, fantasy, D20 RPGs, right? Like there's a decent amount in common here. So I don't think it's way off base for me to say that. The thing I'm curious about, now it's been a bit since I played Dragonbane. It's like how similar are they? I don't know. I'll be honest, Dragonbane I wasn't also too crazy about. Like I could appreciate a lot of aspects of it, and especially like the Deepfall Breach scenarios were cool, and some of the races were neat, but like, yeah, I wasn't blown away by Dragonbane. I did feel like as I was playing this, like, I felt a decent amount of similarities between the two, but maybe I'm, once again, completely off base there. But yeah, that's just, that's what I think, and that's where I'm at, so up to my just chatting screen. Before I hop out of here, I'll quickly talk about what I'm going to be playing this week on the channel. Let me double check something real fast that I actually know the name of this game I'm going to be playing, because I'm playing a new game, and I need to actually get the name right. Okay, so coming up on the channel this week, I'm gonna be playing an interesting new game. It's actually another suggestion by Dallas that, or no, I think, yeah, it was Dallas that made the suggestion a while ago. And it was for this game on Steam called I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. So I had to double check and get the name right. I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. And it's a computer game that's on Steam. That is a narrative. Let me just read the description. It's a narrative RPG with like deck building aspects to it. So spend your teenage years on alien planets in this narrative RPG with card-based battles. Explore, grow up, and fall in love. The choices you make and the skills you master over 10 years will determine the course of your life and your survival on your colony. So, seemed like a fun game. It's one I bought a while back and I haven't played yet. So, that's what my video is going to be this week, is this kind of cool space RPG combined with a bit of a card battler, like deck building game in it. Once again, I have not played it. I've not seen anything about it. I'm going to do kind of a first playthrough this week. So, that should be fun, I think. We'll see. And then next Sunday, excuse me. Next Sunday, I'm playing some more RPGs. 2 weeks in a row. I am going to return to Forbidden Lands next week because I had a good time my last session, and I feel like those videos are just not long enough to do anything. So I'm going to be returning to Forbidden Lands next stream. Yeah, next stream. I was going to say next week with a stream is what I was going to say. And yeah, we'll pick up with Ganulf and Ulrich, seeing what those two crazy kids are up to. They're not kids. I mean, they're those wolfkins. See if they can finish their journey, get some tools, get some hirelings, and then get back to their stronghold. And who knows what's going on with that? They're barely alive after last session, so that'll be fun. I'm really enjoying Forbidden Lands still. I just need to keep playing it more. I'm gonna start forgetting the rules, but yeah, Forbidden Lands is one I still am really enjoying. So yeah, that's the plan. Is next week, video on Wednesday/Thursday for I Was a Teenage Exocolonist, and the next Sunday will be Forbidden Lands RPG. And I will say, I got some. I don't want to tease too much, but I got some fun stuff coming up in the next month or so. So I think some fun videos, some fun streams. I don't want to say too much at the moment, but I got some pretty, I think, interesting streams and videos coming up. We'll see what y'all think. And one of them, I'll a little bit of a teaser. But let's just say we're gonna see more from Lilith's playthrough here soon. In a way, I'll say that much. We'll see. Yeah, that's what I'll say. Is yeah, we'll see a bit more in a way of the story of Lilith. So if y'all haven't caught up on the last episode with Lilith, The Flag in the Wind is what that one was called. I definitely recommend doing so. But yeah, we'll see kind of what happens after the events of last episode. Yeah, I think I know how I'm gonna kind of go with all that, but Yeah, that's coming up in sometime in the future. I don't want to tease too much. But yeah, so that's what's coming up, and that's what I got going on. So yeah, it just sounds like you've moved away from D20 systems, especially with the old school related ones. I think I have a little bit. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I do, yeah, I don't, because I really like a bunch of, I mean, I like, yeah, non D20 systems. I mean, I like the D20 system in Fallout, but that's different because you're rolling multiple D20s and that's a roll under system, but I quite like it. I really like how Forbidden Lands does it, where you just chuck a bunch of D6 and then each six is a success and each one is a bane. Like, that's really fun. Like, I don't know, something about it. Maybe it's just the fact of rolling a lot of dice, or it's just the kind of variability of it. I don't know. I quite like how that's done. And then of course, stuff like Starforged and Iron Valley with just the classic 2d10 plus a d6 action roll. Like, it's simple, but I really like that system as well. So I do think I have been preferring just a straight d20 plus a skill roll less, because that's just not as exciting, and it feels pretty swingy when you're just trying to hit a 15 and you're rolling a d20, or you're adding one, maybe two, and maybe if your primary stats are a bit higher, but like, yeah, it definitely seems like, I don't know, d20 just base systems are not as exciting, and I don't know, I definitely like I said, like Starforged systems where you have weak and strong misses and you got a little bit more, I don't know, difference in the rolls, and the 2d20 system's fun, and I really like Forbidden Lands where you can push rolls and you got the Banes and all that. Like, I think all of those are a lot more interesting and fun for me than just a d20 system. So that's just my opinion, but I would agree that I do think I'm slowly moving away from d20 systems. But yeah, that's just me. But I'm gonna keep playing new games, learning new games. I'm still in the middle of kind of learning Pathfinder 2nd edition, which I like, but I think, I don't know, I was expecting like it to be a decent amount difference than like D&D 5e, and there's a lot more similarities than there's a lot different, but there's a lot that's similar, like a lot, which is good for learning it, but it's not great for me that was wanting something decently different than D&D, and it's the stuff that I want different. It's pretty similar. I do like some of the changes, but I don't know. I haven't played enough Pathfinder to really like get a good feel for it yet. So that's something to do over the next couple of weeks, and it'll come to the channel at some point, surely. What other RPGs? I think one of the next big ones I'm gonna do is Morkborg at some point, and some of the other board games like Cyborg, Pirate Borg. I really want to dive a bit into the Morkborg games, but I worry that like those games are also, I'm going to kind of run into the issue that I might not love them. They might be a little too light. I don't know. But we'll see. And maybe I just have to just give them a go and not be as critical, get more into the story and less into the game. But I don't know. I wonder what you'd think about a 3d6 system where you roll under and your skills and attributes just create your target number. Oh, what games use that? Is that like an actual thing, or is that just something you're like coming up with right now? Because I'm kind of mixed. Like, I do like the roll under system in Fallout, though it is kind of weird. Like, I mean, especially after coming from D&D, where rolling a d20, high number good, low number bad, and it's kind of the opposite. So it feels weird when you roll like a 20, which should be the best, and it's the worst in Fallout. It's kind of a weird thing, but I do like that it's like dynamic target numbers based on your skills. Like, if you're trying to lockpick, then the DC is based off like your dexterity plus your lockpicking skills, and that's the number you need to roll under, and then you can choose different amount of d20. Like, I don't know, something about it just seems pretty clever, and I like that it's like what you were saying, it's kind of like your attributes kind of dictate the target number, which I quite like, and then you try to roll under that. Like, even though it's kind of weird to kind of get your head around at first, especially coming from like a higher roll d20 system, I've been tending to prefer those, that for sure. That I did basically just describe GURPS. Oh, okay. But Champions, the RPG, a few other ones are based on a 3d6 system like that. Okay. GURPS is another one that's on my list. I'll get to at some point, surely. That one, yeah, that's a bigger one though, from what I've read. But I don't know. I need to go through. I definitely, if you haven't noticed, I quite like sci-fi games. So I think, well, first I want to return to. I haven't played in a while, like Space Aces. That's pretty light, but I enjoyed that. Intergalactic Space Trader, I definitely want to play more of. I've been working on that website a bit more this last week. I want to get it polished up and kind of finished, at least with like a version 1 here in the next like couple weeks, like before the end of October, ideally. There's like Mothership and Traveler I really want to try. Like that seems like a fun one. Mothership came out with a new edition fairly recently. I want to try that. Yeah, there's so many games. So many games. There's like the World Without Numbers, Star Without Numbers, City Without Numbers series. I haven't played any of those by that author. I was trying to think of their name. I don't remember their name. So yeah, there's so many games out there. Like I said, it's like I'll definitely try to get to as many as I can, but RPGs I always feel like take me a little bit longer because I want to, read through the rules and understand the game before I bring it to the channel. So it's a bit more time, but definitely something I still enjoy. And I'm slowly finding more and more what systems I like and what I don't like. But yeah, let me change the music over real fast. I don't want to. This music's great, but we'll switch it up. Switch it back. Okay, so that's all I got here for today. So thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this Forge RPG stream, a like is always greatly appreciated. And until next time, I will see y'all. Have a good week, everybody. Go defend a stable from some creatures. I'm sure you'll have a quiet night with no invisible plants attacking you. Surely.
So I aim up high when it feels low. I know it's hard to trust someone these days.